Good morning. It's 8:41. It is Tuesday. That means Dr. Aaron Chapa is in studio. We got 10 seconds, and we're going to go ahead and hop on the FM.
Woo-woo.
Get it going. If you have some questions, feel free to ask. Let us know what's going on today, Facebook. Here we go.
Psalms 5:11.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. It is 8:42 on a Tuesday. Dr. Aaron Chapa is in studio. This is Kickstart. My name is Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
Dr. Chapa, what's up? How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be in the studio with you guys this morning, and glad just to see everybody's smiling faces. And we're ready to rock and roll, and excited about the new week. And, you know, this is 4th of July week, man. This is pretty exciting.
What does that mean for people's health already? 4th of July.
Fireworks.
Fireworks has got to be number one at the top of their that makes everybody's spirit lighten up. And
I think so.
I mean, that patriotic music. I'm already listening to, building my patriotic
Playlist
library that way, because sometimes times when you go to watch fireworks, you can see them, but nobody's got music jamming.
Yeah.
And man, I just think that fireworks with USA music is the bomb. And it just gets you those goosebumps, and you're just like, oh, praise the Lord, that's awesome.
Yeah, years ago, whenever I was a kid, and we haven't done it in a while, at Abundant Life on the campus, they would do like a firework display that was second to none in our area. It was
plan
phenomenal.
on it tomorrow night.
Just you from the fireworks stand?
Yes. I bought the entire fireworks stand, and I'm just going to light it all on fire.
Kurt,
so.
that's the worst.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be
worst. It's a hazard. That's breaking news. I'm going to break that. Kurt Casper, KGA Radio, recently bought an fireworks stand.
I feel like they can't come and find me.
They know exactly where you are. You're not hard to find at all. Trust me, you're not hard to find. Remember that.
There's going to be like Katy Perry playing on the speakers.
You're just ruining my vision of what as a kid, like whenever they used to have the speakers outside and there was like guitar soloing, like and then like the fireworks are going off. It's like a music video. Man, it was the best. But fireworks, it can be something very memorable.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, my wife. As a matter of fact, we were at Skipper's in Greek restaurant in South Shore, and across the street there's a fireworks stand, and my wife, we were walking in there the other day, and she goes, "Hey, look," because she knows like I get giddy whenever I see fireworks stands.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta pull in. I need fireworks.
Do you like sparklers?
Oh, dude. I mean, the coolest thing that I like right now is the Roman candle that is, it's like a Gatling gun. I mean, it's got like a 2-inch barrel on it, and there's like 500 shots out of this thing. And so I'll set it in my kids' hands, and they'll just like ta 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 ta.
Are you serious?
So awesome.
I haven't seen that.
It is pretty legit.
So if any of Chapa's kids' hands are gone, now we know why.
We will know. We will know.
Who was in here the other day, and they're like, fireworks are dangerous, and we cannot have them.
No, we were talking to the Hitchcock. Like that's her job.
Oh, the city the city code lady, and I just basically like
in city limits.
How. That's part of the fun, is like throwing the firework at your cousin and hitting it in the back of the ear and watching it explode. Like, that's
listen,
the fun of it.
My cousin and I blew up many ant piles. We would throw black cats at each other, M60s and all. I mean, we did stupid stuff with fireworks.
The tanks.
And we had so much fun. So I mean, I got like just goobles of memories on fireworks. Outside of city limits and inside. We've done it all.
Y'all are weird to still have, like, you can't fire fireworks inside of city limits. In Nebraska, we're just lighting it up.
Oh, I mean,
if it's dry, which I don't think we're like in drought season, but sometimes
with all the rain we've had lately, it's probably safe
in a better situation. Because if it gets dry, think about like the potential hazards. Grass fires, all kinds of stuff can start. That can be dangerous.
That's what you have insurance for.
Oh my gosh!
You're gonna get us in trouble this morning. Gee whiz!
I'm on a roll this morning.
You're on something.
So anyway, I would say that from a health perspective, 4th of July, there's gonna be a lot of barbecue. And so, I mean, you could stay keto friendly if you wanted. You could stay paleo.
Mm-hmm.
Stay dairy free if you can walk past the ice cream, Curt. And
nope.
Still keeping the idea is, okay. So 4th of July is coming, right? So what do we do this week? So we go ahead and start preparing. We eat better. We're more cognizant yesterday, today, tomorrow, before the 4th hits. And then when the 4th hits, you have a splurge day.
Relax a little bit.
But I feel like if they're decorated like the 4th of July, they're healthy, right? Like those little bombsicles.
I mean, I love the bombsicles.
See?
I think of like New Caney, Conroe, because me and my cousin would ride our 4-wheelers to this little speed store place, and they would have those, and we'd get those.
Wait, Chopper, you had ice cream like that?
When I was a kid.
as a child.
I mean,
Then I put childish things away.
Then I put childish
When I
things
became a
away.
man.
That's right.
Yeah.
As a child, I thought like a child. And
Here's the thing. Whenever it comes to even letting loose days, whenever it comes to diet and nutrition, for me, whenever I have what a lot of people call a cheat day, it's hard to get back because it's like, man, I just had potato salad. I just had so many sweets, some pecan pie, every cherry pie. I just celebrated America, and the freedoms that we have. Now the next day I have to go back to eating like there's a tomorrow. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
right, that's
healthy,
right.
and that's difficult.
But so there's a few things. So when you cheat, depending on what you cheat with, determines how far off the reservation you're going to be. So like if you get into like a lot of I always tell patients, like if you're going to eat the birthday cake, eat the icing off the cake, because those simple sugars your body can process pretty quickly and burn them off.
Really?
And but if you eat the cake, the body is so resourceful, it will compound those polysaccharide sugars, those multi-sugar compounds, into a lot of simple sugars, and it will resource, and then it gets stored in our system, and it creates cravings. So if I got patients that are doing really great on a paleo diet or on a keto diet, or they're just limiting the carbs, and then they go off and get into carbs in the starch department, so any type of bread, cereals, pastas, rice, all of a sudden their cravings come back. That's because their blood sugar is still off and they haven't reset those pathways yet. Mm-hmm. And so we really try to steer them away from complex carbs at that point until we get their sugars stable so that they don't have that massive craving like you're describing. But, we should be able to have fun, with our meals. And I think it comes down to, okay, so let's say that you are planning to cheat on 4th of July. So there's some things that you could do. If you're big into sweets, you need to make sure that you have, one of our B vitamins. So Cataplex B is a fantastic, support there. Ortho B, great support. Max B, great support, because the B vitamins help the body digest and break down sugars.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have enzymes available at your meal, or stomach acids available. So we use stuff like, hydrochloric acid, or just basic pancreatic enzymes to help the system digest the food that you're eating.
I have a question about simple sugars. What are some other examples? Because, whenever you describe, it's easier for your body to break down, and then it's just used and gone. But the complex ones, it takes a while and just creates a bunch of simple sugars.
So think of, so complex carbs, just look at like a potato, your starches, your high carb, foods, in the vegetable department would be like your squashes, and not that they're bad, okay? So none of this is bad. This is just what it is, right? And so, but if you take a potato and you cut it in half and you reach in and you pull out the contents of the potato and throw it on the ground, and then you take sugar, like table sugar, and you fill it up inside the shell of the potato, that's approximately how much, because it's actually more. That's how resourceful the body is, how much sugar you're eating. So every time you're eating a baked potato, it's as if you're putting in a half of a potato full of nothing but simple sugar.
Really?
And so that's how the body will convert it. Now, that's just a picture in your head. But when you look at cookies, candies, cakes, ice cream, icing on cakes, you look at the obvious sugar, those are what we call simple sugars. So like a diabetic that gets into a diabetic situation and they need their blood sugar to rise, they'll give them, a piece of bread, or they'll give them Skittles, or they'll give them something that's like, just blatant sugar. Bam, hit them. And that will help get their sugar back up so that they don't slip off into a low state, sugars that could be detrimental to their health. And I'm sure they could drink a soda pop, and that would.
But Dr. Chapa, this one's sugar free.
Well, I know, but it might have. Well, there's all kinds of other issues we have in that conversation. You were asking specifically.
Oh, that's true.
About simple sugars.
Yes.
And so simple sugars, I have a document in my office that I give out from Nancy Appleton's book, Lick the Sugar Habit. And Lick the Sugar Habit is all about all the different ways that sugar affects our health. And so one of the things that we see in is it can destroy arteries. It can destroy, the liver. It can mess up the epithelial lining of your digestive tract. It messes with the way the brain processes information. I mean, sugar has 144 that on a piece of paper that I have in my office ways that it can ruin and destroy the health.
I have a question about potatoes specifically.
Potatoes?
Yes, I say potato, you say potato. But like, where does it fall into the food? I'm not a big fan, but you said it turns into sugar. Like once you eat it, it's sugars. But like, what kind of food category is it?
So it's going to be in your starchy vegetable category.
So it's considered a vegetable,
yeah, it's
but
a root
starchy
vegetable. It's a starchy vegetable.
Is it better
or
if
high carb vegetable?
Is it better if you mash it and then put tons and tons of butter inside of it?
Your body's
everything is better with butter.
Is it better broken down?
And so to answer that question, so when you break it down first, like when you mash it, you're already digesting it, so your body is able to access it more rapidly. So it creates a little bit higher ramp that it's going to cause the blood sugar to rise. But when you mix it with the butter, like Kurt's talking about, that is wonderful because that massive amount of fat helps to offset the speed at which the sugar comes up. So every time we get in, that's why you want to have proteins. If you look at proteins and fats, they're like logs on a fire. They metabolically in your system burn hot, meaning good, strong energy, and they burn long. Stability, no crashes throughout the day.
Is it bad that were you guys one of the people who would take the mashed potatoes, put a hole where you're going to put the butter, and then cover it up, and then create
I would do that with a roll, like at Kelly's. I wouldn't create a moat, but I just pop open the hot roll, put the butter, and then just close it in and be like, we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Dr. Chapa? Did you eat mashed potatoes and starchy vegetables growing up as a kid, or was it more like fast food or healthy?
No, we had potatoes and things like that, and then my in-laws are big steak and potato people, so I mean, so the way I play that game, and this would be my third, okay, you're going to cheat this week, what are you going to do? So not only do you need enzymes, so we have 6 different enzyme products in our office, stomach acids to help make sure that you can break down the food that you're consuming, and B vitamins for your sugar treats. Now we look at the actual volume of food. So it's not that a potato is the end of the world bad. What happens is it goes back to, volume of food. If you're do we really need an entire potato? Like one potato, from the whole potato, is 59 grams of carbohydrates. Well, everybody that comes in to see me, I'm trying to get them below 60 grams of carbs a day from day one.
Wow. The
reason being is because they've already expended all their carb points for a lifetime.
Yeah, I'm not honestly a big fan of potatoes. The only way I like them is from the Texas Pit Stop. If they have a giant thing of barbecue on top of them with cheese and sour cream and butter, and then you mix it up, where the potatoes secondary, but mainly it's just barbecue.
Yeah, and that's how it should be, right? The starches in any meal should always be your just kind of garnish. They shouldn't be the hub of the meal.
The mainland.
You want the protein to be the hub, and then you want the other things just to be little elegant flavors to entertain your taste buds.
I remember eating steak as a little kid. I don't eat a whole lot of steak as an adult, but only because I'm not a huge fan of steak. But I remember in order to eat the steak, I had to have a mashed potato with it. So it's take the steak, dip it in the mashed potato, and then put it in your mouth.
Like being a diva as a kid, or that's just the way the family did it?
That's what I did it. Oh. Because I couldn't chew the steak. I was like, I don't want to sit here and go.
Well, did you get it well done?
I mean, that might be the problem.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to chew. I've never had a steak where you didn't have to sit there and it's I wanted a cheeseburger.
Man, I've had some steaks where you can cut it with a fork. We were at this place in Orlando. You could take it was so tender you could just cut through it with a fork, and it melted in your mouth. There's no chewing involved.
Yeah, there's some really nice steak places in Houston. It's just so expensive.
Yeah.
Why? I guess because the meat is especially prepared.
Steak's the highest part of the cow, right?
Well, the most nutritious part of any animals is the organ meats. And that's where all your nutrition really is. So in
Tripas.
the olden days, people
Put it in a taco.
They would, the Indians would chew up the tongue of the buffalo immediately. They would, gobble up the heart, very quickly. They threw this what we call delicacies and spend a lot of money on. We would throw that to the dogs in the olden days. Like that was not the delicacy of the cow. The organ meats, if you eat intestine, you're feeding your own intestines. You're actually making your intestinal lining stronger and healthier.
So is that legit?
That's
Is that
legit.
true? Okay.
Like treats like. And so the nutrition blueprint from these animal sources have the ability to feed our body's organ systems, because we're although molecularly different, we're also we have similarities. And so if you put a blueprint of a heart in, your body can follow a blueprint and be like, oh, I got a little glitch in that department. I need to go fix my own.
Yeah, so you are what you eat.
You do become what you eat. So if you want to be a sugar-filled lump of dough, Kurt, you eat sugar-filled lumps of dough.
The tension just rose in here.
A little bit.
Are you okay with that, Kurt?
Kurt loves it.
Yeah. Okay, it's 8:57 right now. This is KHEARadio.com.
Notice how I just answered for him?
Yeah,
Kurt loves it.
Well, he shook his head. He shook his head. We got Dr. Aaron Chapa from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center in studio. If you have any questions that have to do with health, nutrition, maybe you're looking to get off some medication, maybe you're looking to avoid surgery, or have a program implemented that works with your other surgeries and everything else.
Most people don't realize it, and that at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we're giving people alternatives to drugs and surgery. And we want people to realize and understand that, like, whatever symptom patterns you have in your body, whatever, angle that your body direction is going in the health department, if you aren't happy with the direction you're going, you have, high blood pressure, you have cholesterol issues, you have rashes, you have allergies, you have stomach, belly pain, you have headaches, whatever the symptom is, call us. That's what we're here for. We want to teach you why your body's breaking down, and we want to give you tools and resources on how to fix it. And we're always looking to help people, expand their mind. They don't realize that. And one of the things I really wanted to talk about this morning is, like, I had this patient come in this week, and she, is convinced that being constipated her whole life is normal, and for her, because that's what 3 or 4 doctors have told her. And I'm like, just because, like, you've been told that doesn't mean it makes it right. Even if they're authority figures, and they should know better. You can't, have rights. You can't be right when you're wrong. I mean, if you are clogged up and your bowels aren't moving daily, first thing in the morning, within 15 minutes of waking up, and you're not having, a glory moment in the bathroom, then you're behind. Literally, like, your body is slowing down, and by mid-morning, mid-afternoon, your brain's going to turn off. You're not going to be as sharp. You're not going to be as, functional in the productivity department of your life. Your bowels or your intestines are most active between 5 and 7 in the morning, right after your lung and liver meridian have been detoxing you all night. And so, I always try to get people to realize that, hey, listen, like, your bowels, even though they haven't moved in 20 years, doesn't mean that that's normal. It means that you're messed up, and that's a problem. And 80% of all health starts in the gut. And we want people to realize that if we can get the gut health, healthier, and we can make sure things aren't clogged up in your system, you'll see your liver work better, which means you're going to be more metabolically active. You're going to be able to tolerate, allergens in the air. You'll be able to deal with more, chlorine when you're swimming around the pool. And then better than that, your thyroid's going to work better, because the diesel engine won't have to slow down its productivity in order to, be sluggish with the liver, because on a slow liver, there's a slow thyroid. And that all is a lot of times stemmed from a slow bowel. And we're always looking for ways to help people's body move and not accept the status quo of, wrong teaching.
It's 9 o'clock. This is KHEARadio.com. KHEA.com, 99.5 FM. Go download the KHEA radio app. It just dropped like maybe 3 weeks ago. You can stream us from anywhere. If you have anybody in your life that needs to hear this message, you can tag them in this video. Maybe share this Facebook stream out on your own. Hit the share button, and then ask a question. You can also tell them, hey, download the KHEA radio app because they can listen from anywhere in the world, or go to our website, KHEAradio.com, and you can stream us. Dr. Chapa, you mentioned something about the gut. And I've heard that term thrown around, but I honestly don't know, like, what counts as the gut? Like, hey, you need to be focusing on your gut health. You know, is that like your intestines? Is that just like a different term for that? Or is your gut considered like your intestines plus your this and that?
So your digestive, there's many terms. So you got your gut health. You got words like leaky gut. You got gut biome, microbiome, gut ecology. Inside the gut lining, there are healthy bacteria. There are bad bacteria. There's healthy yeast, bad yeast. People don't realize that they even have, right now, you have parasites in your digestive tract, and we all do to some degree. But, you know, the Bible's real clear that we're to subdue the creepy, crawly things, and our body is strong enough to keep them under the thumbnail, so to speak, of our own dominance and control. And they have a job, and their job is to, you know, help you break down foods in the digestive tract. But when they get out of hand, they can wreck your health, and they can destroy the like, if you look at like a chain link fence, right? Mm-hmm. A chain link fence isn't just one, you know, continuous piece of, you know, fencing that goes from, you know, one point A to point B. There's going to be places where poles are put in the ground to make the fence more stable. Well, we have those also called enterocytes in our gut lining, and the enterocytes are basically held together by these little molecule proteins, zonulin, occludin, and actomyosin. And yeah, those are big words, but they're like basically staples. They're holding these cells together so that nothing can penetrate that's not invited across. The gut lining, after food has been digested in your stomach, goes into the small intestine, where the microbiology takes and works on it. The enzymes are there to help break it down further, and we break down and absorb food through these little enterocytes. Mm-hmm. Well, if we got a hole in our gut lining, or we have an irritation, an ulcer, an inflammatory response, a colitis, so to speak, we have to fix those, because now every time food walks or slides past those areas, there's inflammation or irritation goes up in that department. It's like rubbing a wound and not giving it time to heal. And so we're a big tube from our mouth to our behind, right? So if an ant crawled in your mouth and went out your behind, he never technically went in your body.
Right.
And because he never was invited across the fencing, the enterocyte lining. But if you've got an irritation in that lining, then your defenses are down. You're immunologically compromised. And so that's where people start developing, you know, blood-based inflammatory processes, because undigested proteins, parasites, bacteria can actually cross over the fencing into the bloodstream, and it can wreak havoc in other tissues of the body. And that's how diseases, you know, go from one area of your body to another. And that is something we want to address and make sure that people realize that the gut is your first line of defense.
As you're talking about gut lining, Gardy and I are both like over here having a heart attack.
No,
just
sneezing.
And I coughed.
And
After you sneezed.
I think we're gonna have to get elders to bring y'all some more water, since y'all were sucking down poison a moment ago.
Yeah, it tastes good. Hey, I got a question. This is from coming from our Facebook stream. First of all, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any comments, let us know. It says, I've been so bloated lately, but also I've been eating healthy. It actually gets painful. Any help?
So where's it? Say it one more time. Have you get bloated lately?
Have been so bloated lately, but also have been eating healthy. It actually gets painful.
So
any help?
It could be that, you know, you have so much. We have called another, what I call it, and I'm not. It's called dirty pipe syndrome. So let's just say that, you know, your pipe is supposed to be 2 inches in diameter, but yours is only 1 inch, and it's because the other inch is caked up old trash. and then you start putting in all this good, healthy, quote unquote food. And again, I don't know what that means. I'd have to see a food log, which is one of the things that we always encourage people to do when they're on a new plan in our office, is we want to track your food log. We want to see what it is that you're eating day in and day out, because what you eat's important, but what you
don't eat is more important.
That's right. You guys are like nails this morning.
I love when he says it, but I hate when he yells it. It's like,
I know, but he's so
don't eat
desperate to be in the forefront.
But I want to make sure that I get it right.
That's right. And he wasn't. And so I'm proud of you. I mean, what you eat is important, but what you don't eat
Look,
is
I might
more
be
important.
Oh, man, I missed it.
I just threw it to you, and I was just going to casually see how you handle
I
it.
went up to 84 IQ one time. And
Where's your hat?
Dropped down to 83
Darn it.
again.
Where's your hat?
It's at home.
So when we're looking at this, when you change your diet and you start putting in good foods and you start noticing that you feel worse, like you feel bloated, you feel gassy, you feel like things just aren't setting well in your intestine, guess what? That might be that you have need to do a little bit more therapeutic, cleansing that needs to happen. So we do detoxes to help open up the bowel channels and get things to break loose in there. And when we go take a person through that process, a lot of times that gas and bloating goes away. Sometimes it's an indication that you don't have enough stomach acid and or pancreatic enzyme production because I don't want to say, that you've eaten poorly, but possibly that for a long time prior you were eating not so good and you wore out your body's ability to digest real food, because you were eating fake food. And the best thing you'll ever have if you eat make-believe health is, or make-believe food is?
Make-believe health.
That's right. And so we don't want to eat make-believe food because it doesn't serve our body in any way, shape, and form. And so we have to come in and look at, all right, maybe you need digestive enzymes. Maybe you need stomach acids. Maybe you need a little bowel cleanse in order to pull out some of that excess trash that's stuck up inside your bowels. And that's where we get, diseases that start percolating, is whenever things sit stagnant in our bodies. Anywhere in your body. If there's stagnation in your lymph nodes, guess what you're prone to? You're prone to like breast cancers, and you're prone to, lymph node swelling or earaches or, tonsillitis. And you're starting to see, okay, that's a sign of stagnation in the body. Like things aren't moving like they're supposed to. And so one of the things that we are firmly going to make sure happens is that your system isn't stuck. And then if it is dirty, we're going to help you clean that up. And everybody has a dirty bowel at some level, and it's just like your car oil. It's just like your car tires. You've got to maintenance them, and you've got to support them, and you got to replace them at times. And the gut lining is replacing itself and turning over. Those little staples, those zonulin, including actomyosin, are repairing themselves, and the body is constantly doing upgrades to make it stronger. Because what we've found is when the epithelial lining in the gut is damaged, typically you can almost mirror that with the blood-brain barrier. That means the same type of lining that protects your outside world to your inside world, there's also an internal barrier that protects your blood from the brain. So we don't want the just random blood going into the brain. We want a specific, healthy, clean blood that going into feeding and fueling the brain. But if you've got a leaky gut or you got a damaged gut lining, you typically have a leaky blood-brain barrier, and then the blood that contaminated blood can cross over that blood-brain barrier because of those leaks, and you can get brain stuff like memory issues. Can't remember names, numbers, and words. Can't remember why you walked into a room. You develop over time like little bits of Alzheimer's or dementia, and then this is a scary thing for people.
Yeah, that's no fun.
And what I'm trying to take people through is to realize there's a physiologic understanding of process. When you understand the process, you can better understand what it is you're dealing with in your health, why you get migraines, why you get tonsillitis, why you have lymph node swelling, why you have, a skin rash, or why you deal with allergies every, year when the spring comes.
Yeah, there was one thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier, and we've touched on this before, how it's a step in the right direction. Maybe you make a good choice. This weekend or 4th of July, be like, hey, I'm not gonna have this, or I'm gonna cut out the cookie dough and I'm gonna make another choice instead. But it's like one choice, like 1% change, and it's like a step at a time, right?
I know most of our listening audience doesn't understand this because this was like last January, but we used to talk about how I would double fist cookie dough as I'm leaving the grocery
Like
store.
at the grocery store.
I would go to
Like
the
he's not
lobby.
barely getting through the line. You're already like stuffing it down.
Yeah, I would drive one cookie dough in one hand, the other cookie dough in the other hand.
It's like a cylinder,
knees,
you know?
Lord.
knees on the steering wheel, and then I'm like,
But why?
but
Why would you do that? Like, what
I
did you think
I
that was okay?
enjoy-
I mean,
cookie
my
dough so
stomach's
much.
hurting just thinking
So
about
much.
the amount of sugar, bad oils, the high fructose, manipulated corn syrup.
Eggs.
I mean-
oh my gosh, that
I mean-
sounds so good. Anyway, but the best part was the other day I was
The
at
eggs
the
aren't
grocery
the problem, buddy. It was all the other stuff they got stuffed in that
Oh,
thing.
so good. So good. But I was in the grocery store the other day at Walmart, and I walked past, and I looked, and I was like, I remember those days. I remember you, cookie dough. And I didn't get it. They even now have edible ones that come in little pouches.
Oh,
that
they're
you, like,
already
to go,
set up. You can just pull
to
out
go.
the
And then I saw I almost got it, and then I saw the price tag like was
here's-
$6,
but here-
and
but
I was
here's
like,
the-
I'm
but-
too poor for that.
But the reality is this, right? Like, we're making, instead of double fisting cookie dough rolls, we're making it more convenient for you to stuff all that in your pie hole. You know what I mean?
Convenience is good.
And so they also, and the more convenient it is, the harder it is to say no to it. And it's good marketing. There are people sitting around tables right now trying to figure out how to make it affordable enough so Curt will get it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just using Curt as my guy because he just said that. But I mean, there's marketing dollars spent trying to get you guys that's listening right now to buy fake food. And if you eat enough fake food, what are you going to get?
Fake results.
Health.
Yeah, you're going to get fake health and fake results, and it's all a facade, and it's going to lead to a bigger problem down the road. And we got to get people to realize that marketing works, and we've got to get people truth. And so as the dental industry went around trying to get people to realize, hey, you need to get your teeth cleaned, twice a year, and everybody knows that to be a truth because of how good they have done in marketing that. I'm going around teaching people that they need to detox 3 to 4 times a year, and they need to every quarter. They need every season change. They need to do something to overhaul a system in the body, whether they strengthen their immune system, whether they strengthen their digestive system, whether they strengthen their blood system, whether they strengthen their detoxification system. If you're working on your body through a systems-based nutritional approach like we offer at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we find that people climb Mount Everest without actually realizing they're putting in the effort. Mm-hmm. We try to make it easy enough that it's not like a burden or something that is, it feels like more of that 1 degree of change. And because we are up against, an onslaught of more money than I've got to teach time wise, and there's more people that are trying to push their fake food agenda on the people. And people don't realize it, but I mean, even the organic stuff that you're buying at the grocery store, it's still got chemicals on it. It's still got stuff. It's just it fits inside of what we call organic standards, but it's not truly living off the land. I mean, it still baffles my brain. You had a patient, little kid come in the other day. I mean, didn't know what a tomato was. Doesn't know what a cucumber is.
There's some vegetables.
Kurt, did you go to Dr. Chapa's office?
He did. I mean, that 83 IQ all day long.
Wow.
He got a cool hat yesterday. It has 83 on it. So
It looks very presidential. And I was doing the math. I think I could be the 83rd president. I just have to live 163 years old.
I mean, you're going to have to definitely start changing things.
But somebody
now.
said they're like, but yeah, that's impossible. I'm like, well, if there's a new president every year, then I could in 30 years, and I'd be 60. It'd be good.
we'll see.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Right now it's 9:15. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5
Hate to
FM.
burst your bubble.
Talking to Dr. Aaron Chapa. We have a question we're going to get asked. If you have a question, feel free to ask on our Facebook stream, or you can text us 346-704-1806. This is from Jackie. She said, I eat a ton of veggies. What is the best meat to eat?
Well, that all depends on your, body makeup. If you're, for example, an A blood type human being, then you would probably lean more toward chicken, fish, turkey, eggs. If you're more of a B or a type, you might lean more towards fish and your meats, your red meat. If you're an O blood, you might lean more towards red meat and chicken, fish, turkey, eggs. I mean, the chicken, fish, turkey, egg department is the safest meats to get into. Depending on your blood type, You can, pork and red meat, cow meat might be a little bit more challenging, but it depends. I mean, and so what I would say is, if you're unsure because maybe you're asking because you've eaten meat and it makes you feel like cruddy, maybe we want to look at the quality of meat that you're consuming. So like if you can get free range chickens or chickens that aren't pumped full of soy and pesticides and stuff that they're eating in their feed. If you're eating eggs and you get bloated from eggs, again, we hope there's about 15% of the population actually have a legit egg allergy, and so some people unfortunately aren't able to indulge in the incredible edible egg, but it is the perfect balance of proteins, fats, and carb. And so you want to lean towards clean meats that are typically grass-fed, that aren't pumped full of soy, and that allow the body to more easily digest the product. Now, I've had so many, and so people and I'm not I participate in aspects of the blood type diet, and so my people and docs that might hear me say and that know that there's no good science around the blood type diet. Here's my kind of argument against that, is that at the end of the day, like, we can't randomly exchange blood between each other here at the studio.
Well, I think me and Kurt can, because we have the same kind of blood.
Okay,
Remember?
that's right. But if we didn't know that, right, it would be dangerous. And so one of the things that because we can kill people if we do a blood transfusion with the wrong blood type.
Really?
And so that would be a bad thing. And so if we can't just exchange blood from one person to another without it being tested to know exactly if it's a match and all this other stuff, one of the things that would pop up, would say, well, if it's not molecularly the same, then it would make sense, or it's not at least a stretch to appreciate that there might be a different food source that each blood type could do better with. And I've had A-blooded people that literally every time they would eat red meat, they get headaches, they get migraines, they get belly pain, they get cramps in their intestines, they're constipated for 3 days.
Our good friend Ashley just said pork has made my belly hurt, and Ashley comes from Louisiana.
Yeah,
she's in town.
She's in town.
Hi,
today.
I'm so glad you're here. And yeah, so pork isn't always the best thing. So I'm in the same vein with you. I can't do pork either. So pork loins, pork chops, even as much as I would love to, my body bloats up and I feel yucky I feel like a stuck pig for days when I do stuff like that.
Delicious.
Now, I can have bacon, but it's the bacon is not the same as the loin. It's the skin. And so the red meat, for example, if I put red meat in an A-blooded patient, they're going to feel more stagnant. What did we say earlier about stagnation? Stagnation leads to symptoms, or it leads to diseases. It leads to problems, because anytime there's stagnation in the body can't function at its prime function.
Kurt, we're A, right? I can't remember if it was positive.
A positive.
So
because we're A
plus students.
So what should people with A-type blood, because Jody said she's A as well, what should they be eating again?
Yeah, so A people are going to avoid red meat. And,
I love red meat.
And so we're going to look at chicken, fish, turkey, eggs as your primary.
Okay.
And so it doesn't mean that you
barbecue.
can't ever do it, but this is what you do. So going back to the conversation earlier about volume, so instead of eating the 8 ounce, split it and just do 3.5 ounces. Do 4 ounces. Like, eat less.
Yeah.
So because if you play this game long enough and you start appreciating that every time you eat a food and then like 2 hours later you feel crappy, or if 2 hours later you can't remember, like, my brain turning off, or 30 minutes later you're sleepy, something that you ate just did that. Does that make sense? Like, you should eat, and by definition, food should give you energy. It should give you vitality. It should make you feel amazing. It should make you feel electrified, like you're excited to go tackle something. If you get sleepy, tired, and your brain hurts, guess what? Whatever you ate wasn't your friend.
Yeah.
And so you've got to appreciate what your body's trying to communicate to you.
If your blood type controls how you process food, does your blood type also control maybe characteristics about your life? Is that a trend that they have seen or anybody studied?
I'm sure they have. I haven't actually. So in the Ayurvedic department, they have different words that they describe the type of person you are. You also, in your build will dictate. There's a personality trait that goes along with it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, people have done so many like It's really quite amazing when you start looking at it all. And so, I think that we can look at body types, for example. And so if you look at the person that can seemingly like the females that they work out and they get all big and buff and they're like, that's not what I want. I just want to look. I just want to look healthy, but every time I touch a weight,
toned,
I get
yeah,
more toned, like more manly than I want to look. That is an adrenal body type. The ladies that walk around and they feel like they got too much junk in the trunk and their thighs are real big. That's an ovarian issue.
Why are you looking at me?
That's okay, Kurt. It's okay.
I am not like a tree trunk. Let's go.
And if you look at the people that have the Dunlop belly, like where the belly Dunlopped over the belt buckle.
Stop saying these things. Gardy's just like looking at me he's like.
I didn't even look at you that way.
He's like, man, if your eyebrow's a little crooked, if your teeth aren't aligned, if your name is Curt,
if your IQ's 83,
it's like, what are you doing?
So your body type it gives us characteristics about you. So that would be a liver thyroid body type with the Dunlop.
Didn't they always say like thyroid issues? You could tell if your elbow was dry.
No, that would just be
lotion.
I mean,
that's a lotion
no,
issue.
It's not a lotion issue, but it is an essential fatty acid problem from internal. And your body is pushing toxins out the skin, and your joints love to store up toxins, and your elbows are so close to, and they're so thin there, you can see the dryness on the other side.
My brother growing up, and he had a massive thyroid issue. Like he was constantly like going to the doctor as a little kid trying to get his thyroid right because it would lead to anger issues. But his elbows were like super crusty, like beyond. It was gross crusty. I hated looking at it. I'm like, please.
I would be angry too if I had crusty elbows like that. Did they ever think about trying lotion?
Or do they think about cleaning their liver? That's the real cause. Like if you clean the liver.
This was my brother, not me. Why are you looking at me?
I mean, well, in the Nebraska, they probably didn't have
lotion.
I don't know.
Wow.
So anyway, let's answer the following here. Somebody says that they're O blood and that they can't have avocado. So let me tell you again. I remember I said earlier, I'm not an advocate, Ashley, for the like total, onslaught of blood typing, right? Because what I've found in clinical practice, so I'm just now speaking to what I know clinically. I've never seen anybody, now unless you overindulge, but I've never seen anybody eat a half an avocado and have a problem. And there being, because all blood types say you can't have avocado. All blood types say you can't have coconut. I mean, and so if we follow it to the T, we would expect some level of change to happen. But remember, all diets are a tool. They are a tool to help you understand your chemistry better. And what you eat is important, but what you don't eat
is more important.
That's right. So what are we taking away from your diet in the blood typing is we're taking away these foods. These are the common things that every blood type should remove. Hands down, don't even worry about the protein. Well, worry about the proteins, but at this level, you look at the gluten first. So wheat, barley, rye, oats. A lot of times, even and just for the guys out there that might be listening, beer does have oats and rye and barleys and things like that in it. So beer can be a problem. Tortillas, many cereals, all have wheat in it, and that wheat has the gluten. And that's the protein found in the wheat, gluten. Then you want to avoid the nuts that they talk about. So the most genetically engineered nut is peanuts, second to cashews, and then pistachios, really hard to digest. But you're still safe to do pecans and almonds and walnuts, but maybe just not like at the 6 cups a day department. You got to still be in volume and moderation. And then you look at the bad oils. And even the bad oils. So you want to look at things like avoiding canola oil. You want to look at avoiding partially hydrogenated oil or margarine. You want to look at in the next department at dairy products. So anything that's milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey protein, all those things, you want to pull those out because those are inflammatory. And those are things that we've consistently consistently seen when we're looking at the blood type. If you avoid those, then you can start tinkering with all the vegetables. Don't pull the vegetables out yet, because I guarantee you the average American is eating so few of those that we got to get the percentage of vegetable intake back up. Not fruit and vegetables, because that just means people eat fruit all the time and call it fruit and vegetables. We need to eat vegetables. Vegetables.
Not a fruitarian.
Not a fruitarian, but a vegetabilitarian.
Okay, this is from Ashley. She said she's doing a program. I believe it's called R3. She said they said that with food items like Greek yogurt, to eat the ones with higher protein than sugar. Is that true? Is that good advice?
So, I mean, anything. I remember proteins are like a metabolic log on a fire, so I can make a case for it. And maybe it's giving you what you want, packaging it up on what you need. I want to lead you down to avoiding it altogether. Because the protein in dairy products, milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey protein, is pasteurized, it's homogenized, and it's not molecularly good for our bodies anymore. And there's no species outside of the human race that consumes dairy products from another bosom other than what we needed from mom's breast milk. And so, we need to take note of the fact that all nature follows that law. We don't need cow protein to be healthy. And, from the milk source. We definitely need the amino acids, and we need the proteins from the organ meats or the meat or the chicken or the fish. We need amino acids. We need protein, but we don't need the casein that has been pasteurized and genetically engineered.
Right now, it's 9:27. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. Dr. Chapa's in studio every Tuesday, starting at 8:30-ish to whenever he feels like he has to go
listen to
work
Russ.
and do his appointments. He always
You
hangs out
work
with us.
today?
Kind of.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I wish I could have a day where I kind of work.
Every day's a holiday. Every day's a holiday. Just like Sunday on a farm.
Yeah, living a good life. Life is good, and especially when you're spreading health and wellness.
I was talking to a patient yesterday who really loves her job, and I find that a lot of patients that come in don't love what they do. And and that brings another level of health challenge to the table. Like if every day you're stressed about going to the office, if every day you hate what it is that you're going to do and to serve, then find something else to do. Like, because all you're doing at that point is taking up space in that job that somebody else could do better at because you're not happy with it, and it's stressing you out. And so if you're not having fun, it ain't worth doing. Like, find something that you truly love to do, because before the fall of man, like we were called to work the garden. Adam was designed to work the garden, and so he'd get out there and he did it for the joy of the Lord, to work the garden. Now, after the fall, we find that God cursed the ground and cursed us, and so we had work became more of like WORK, like
labor.
Work, like labor, and not as much pleasure. But we can still find in our daily, sacrifice to find joy in what we put our hand to. And that's what I've always tried to encourage people. Like, you will be more creative, you'll be more productive, you'll find more enjoyment if you like what it is that you're doing, because, you spend approximately 40 hours plus a week in whatever it is that you're doing and laboring to. So make sure that it's something that, brings you some level of pleasure and delight. So when I get to work with patients, I love it because I like problem solving, and I'm a puzzle solver. Like, you bring me your hard puzzle and I'm going to help you fix it. And if you stick with me long enough and you follow through with the recommendations that we teach in our office as a whole, with myself or Jennifer or Dr. Amber, we're going to help you come to understand what is going on in your body that needs to be remedied. Yeah. So we try always to teach people how to live better, be better, and stay better one bite at a time. And it all starts with food. All life starts and stops at the cellular level. And we have to keep food in the forefront of our daily, like you and I were talking about this morning, Gardy, like food is what?
Important.
It's fuel.
Oh.
It is important. It's important to fuel your body.
You were not in the room when we were discussing that, I don't think.
I wasn't?
No.
How do you guys have conversations without me?
Listen, Kurt,
Well,
you were
if
in
you
the
would
room
work-
physically, but mentally you were like everywhere else but in the
I
room.
had donuts this morning. I'm definitely
Well,
fueled and ready to go and mentally awake. I'm not
maybe
all over
maybe
the place.
maybe you're proving our point that when you eat too much sugar, your brain turns off and you actually don't
Too
remember
much.
even how you got here this morning. Remember how we did the heart sound recorder and we thought you were going to die here in the studio because you were sucking down an energy drink? I still want to do a study like where for 1 week you don't eat all that junk and then we do this heart sound test.
I did. I went a week.
Yeah, but
You
I
didn't bring in the heart.
You didn't tell me you were going to do
So
it.
then it was pointless. I did all that work for nothing.
You didn't.
Why would I work for nothing?
Anyway.
Hey, I have a question. Whenever it comes to finding joy in what you do for your job, I've been in work situations where I was fortunate and I'm just like thankful, and I had to find my joy in being able to provide for my son, and like that's where I found my joy, because it wasn't necessarily like I was enjoying, it's hard work, I'm doing this, but at the end of the day I knew that, hey, my son's taken care of. This is before I was married. My son's taken care of. I'm able to take care of my bills and provide and save for him and do that stuff. And so for me, that's where I had to find my joy, but it was not like backbreaking work, but it was, like hard work. Now, KHEA radio, I'm fortunate. I love, like, I don't enjoy leaving. Like, whenever I have to go out of town for something, even if it's like vacation, I miss it. I miss it because I love being able to do this. So I'm fortunate to be able to have found something. But sometimes finding that joy, at least like for me in the past, because I've been there where it's just like, hey, this isn't, am I making a difference as much as I would like? Probably not. In my life, in my son's life, who's I'm responsible for, yes. And so that's where I had to find my joy.
And I think that there's wonderful wisdom in what you just said, because if you have a job that is very taxing and physically laborious, or just a high demand stress job, but it pays bills in a way that allows you to provide for your family. I mean, we whatever we can do to change our attitude. I mean, attitude really is everything. And I like I think it's Rick Pitino, and he said he's got a book called Success is a Choice. He was one of the coaches for the New York Knicks, and I love just the cover of the book. It's him standing up against this little picture that says success is a choice, and attitude is pretty much the game. If we have an attitude of gratitude and we're thankful that we get to get out of bed every morning, and a day of work has killed less people than a day of worry, and worrying will destroy your health more than anything else. The amount of emotional turmoil that people are walking around with. And this is why it's so good to smile at your neighbor. Like when somebody flips you off on the freeway, wave at them. And just say, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot, whatever. Just go about your business, because, I've been dumb and pulled out in front of people, and somebody told me how the cows ate the cabbage, and I was like, what?
Sorry,
and I'm just like, I'm
accident.
sorry, I'm an idiot. I screwed up. I'm just thankful you didn't hit me and I didn't hit you, and
Yes.
and we make mistakes. That's called accidents. But when somebody completely and utterly flies off the handle, you got to think, like, what is really going on in their life that their fuse is that short, that they exploded, that they didn't have a frontal lobe to hold them in some level of humanity. It's just one of those things. And I think it comes down to, that's why, us as Christian folk, we get to pray. We can pray a lot of our prayers away, because the Lord says that He'll take our burdens. His yoke is easy, His burden is light. And so we can rest in the in our Creator's gift back to us, and not being anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition, presenting our request to God, and the peace that surpasses all understanding, letting it guard our heart, our mind, and our soul through Christ Jesus. So we get to walk in these things, and I think that attitude is gratitude, and we've got to exercise it more.
Here's something from Russ, and this is our good friend Russ Cox.
Russ, what's up, buddy?
He's wearing that top fan badge, which Facebook rolled out and allowed us to offer, which is really neat. But he said, hey, I have followed what Dr. Chapa has said diet-wise, and just getting rid of sodas and other things, drinking mega water, I have gone from 290 pounds to under 250 pounds.
Russ, that's amazing. And let me just say something that, for every 10 pounds that you lose, that's a mile of work your heart's not ever going to have to do again. Mm-hmm. So that's 4 miles of work your heart ain't having to do that you were having to do before. So think of the 100,000 heartbeats that you're going to have between now and tomorrow at the same time. You can rest assured that those heartbeats are going to be more functional, more dynamic, more with purpose every step that your heart's taking you. And I'm just props to you, top fan.
Russ is awesome.
Russ is awesome.
Do you have top fan badges yet? On
I don't even know what I did. How do I earn one of those?
I don't
you just
know.
have to share and like. I mean, you finally like the page, which is good.
Hey, but I'm signed in right now, and it says that it has an error loading. I can't even see our smiling faces. What's up with that?
We're there. I'm
Refresh
watching.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I refresh it, does that mean I just killed myself? Now it's gone.
The wonders of the internet and Facebook.
Yeah.
We stream live every weekday, 8:30 to 11 on Facebook, also from our KHEA radio app. But on 99.5, we broadcast positivity in the Galveston County area, right from Lamarck, Texas, and we're happy and proud to be able to do that. If you want to get a hold of us, maybe send us a Facebook message. If you have something that you want to promote, get in contact with us. Maybe we can bring you on the show if it works out for us.
Choppa, how many friends do you have on Facebook?
Ooh, I'm not sure. How do I find that out?
So before you leave, I'm going to take your phone and
Let's just do it
invite
now.
all of your friends to KHEA Radio. Is that okay?
Dr. Choppa, do you support positivity in the community and spreading the message of health and wellness every Tuesday from now till eternity?
Yes.
That's all we needed to know.
Okay, so go to your phone, go to Facebook, go to the KHEA Radio page, and if you're listening at home, if you're on 99.5 FM
Let's do this
or
together.
you're on Facebook, all you have to do is search for KHEA Radio, go to our page,
And
then, are you there, Choppa?
Well, now it says it's loading again.
Okay, well, go to the page. Go to KHEA Radio.
Okay.
Are you on our page?
Everybody raise your hand.
Okay,
when you're
now,
there.
across the top there's a tab that says Home, Playlist, Videos. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Go to
Scroll over to Community.
Community.
Okay.
Click on Community.
All right, I'm there. Community.
Now, below there,
So
it's going to say
exciting.
like 8,403 likes. It says invite friends to like this page.
This is part of why technology is only cool when it works.
Dang, Choppa.
It's just spiraling. I can't control that.
Dr. Chopper, do you want me to see?
I'm-
Are you
I'm-
connected to our Wi-Fi?
Can I? I don't want to say anything negative about my homeless service provider.
But if you click on Community, you click on invite friends to like this page, then you can actually invite all of your friends to like KHEA.
Yeah, because right now we only
Radio.
have 2 shares. That means we need you guys that are all listening to share, like, and comment on how amazing KHEA Radio is and how important it is that you are getting a health message. Because here's the thing: there's not a lot of us out there that are comfortable getting and just handling and fielding questions. And so I just want you guys to know, this is my gift back to the community, is to be able to give to people, health and wellness tips and advice, in a setting where it's casual, where we can all learn together as a community. And we want people to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are, Living Well stands for a message. We want to get sick people well without drugs and surgery. We want people to live better, be better, and stay better, one bite at a time. What's that?
So I'm going to invite all of your friends to like KHEA Radio. Is that okay, Choppa?
Let's do it.
All right, so send invites. 1,104. So that's how you do
Yay!
it. If you're sitting at home and you want to make sure that you're
So
spreading
is that
positivity.
good? Do I have? Am I cool because I have 1,104 people? We can.
Well, you're going to get blown up all day with people who are liking KHEA Radio.
That's
But
what I'm
when you
talking
think about it, when they do, they're going to see Dr. Aaron Choppa and Living Well Clinical Nutrition come in on Tuesdays, talk about what you can do to get off medication, maybe avoid surgery. It's going to be spreading positivity. We love it.
That's right. And if we can get people to realize too that you don't have to suffer with even the simple symptom pattern, like having a headache every week or every cycle, or if you've got other health challenges that are going on in your body that are what some people call a medical mystery, whether it's a skin problem or whether it's a heart issue. We want you to know that we want to help you find a solution to manage some of the struggle that your body's going through.
Is it psoriasis, or which one is the a skin condition of unknown?
Oh, eczema.
Eczema. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And that by definition is a skin disorder of an unknown origin.
I see
And
the emoji of the guy shrugging his shoulders, like, well, I don't know.
I don't
Eczema.
know.
What does this mean?
Yeah.
Where's it come from?
and it's definitely a bowel liver issue. And I mean, my wife, when when we first got into this, she was we're estimating between 30 and 40,000 parasites, and on the test in those days wasn't as good as the testing today. It said it came back many, and I'm like, many? That doesn't help me. And so I call them up and they said, well, that's as high. Our test only measures 10,000. parasites. And so she's got to have more than that. So we wound up doing it like 3 or 4 times until we got it below that mini mark. But I mean, and what we noticed though, every time we did it, she had health improvements. So one of her health improvements was weight loss. One of her health improvements was her skin got better. One of her health improvements was her memory came back on. And she started, sleeping deeper, and she didn't need as much sleep as she was needing before. And so the game is when you eat well,
you do well.
That's right. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I have a question, Dr. Chapa. Speaking of sleeping well, the other day,
not this story again.
Well, I just
Here we
want.
go.
So I've been sleeping. I moved into a new apartment, and May 1, something like that, right?
Sure.
So about for the last couple of months, I haven't been sleeping well at all. And I don't know, like I wake up in the middle of the night and everything, and I was like, man, what is going on? So finally, over on Sunday night, I hung up dark curtains over my window, and I have been sleeping
like a baby.
And I've been happy. Like, it's been great. Like, everything has been fantastic just by hanging up dark curtains, and I've been able to sleep through the night.
Yep. And so you don't realize it, but even the little red light on your smoke detector can be enough of a melanocyte stimulant that your skin receptors see it, and you don't slip off into a deep level of sleep. And so we have tools, and we have a page called the Sleep Secrets page that, we help people realize there's 17 different ways that you can go about helping improve deep sleep. And if you don't get good sleep, how much of a problem that is. They say that, even 30 minutes a week of a sleep deficit can decrease your GPA as a college student or your productivity level by 20+%.
What about your IQ?
And I'll look that one up, but I bet you, guess what? Your
So now
IQ
my
might actually
IQ
get to 99.
Woo! That's like average, dude.
That's like average. Like that.
That's awesome. Dude, we could get you to average.
So
that's all
but
I ask.
Sleep is a big deal, and sleeping in a dark room is a great way
So
to
you're
get
telling
deeper sleep.
You're telling me that I need to take the batteries out of my smoke detector at night so that I
did
sleep
not
better.
say that. I did not say that. You just might need to put the black electrical tape over the little red light so you don't see it.
And then check to make sure it's working every weekly.
I don't think I have the red light anymore. I took the batteries out when it started beeping that one time, and it's
Never
been
put 'em
fine.
back in.
Nah.
When to start a
that
smoke.
if there's any of like the people that are into the safety, they're going to be like worried for days knowing that you in your apartment might go up and smoke because your room didn't have a thing.
We are friends with the emergency management people in Texas City, which Curt lives in Texas City. So there's Tom, and then there's our friend Dio, who's actually like the inspector.
I mean, I bet you Gardy would even go over there and replace the battery for you.
Oh,
Yeah, but then
he
the
doesn't
red
let
light
me
would be
over.
up.
He doesn't let me over anymore.
I mean,
it's really weird.
I know it is weird.
He used to let me over, like, seriously, all the time. We'd hang out there. I'd do Instagram lives from his apartment, and then all of a sudden he stopped. He's like, you can't come over. And even if he's like, hey, I'm going to run home and get lunch, and I'm just like, all right, sweet, I'll roll
What
with
am
you.
I, chop liver?
Yeah,
Can't
and
go
now
eat?
I'm not. I can't hang out with him anymore at his apartment. It's
I'll
the
let you-
weirdest
I'll
thing I've
even
ever
let
seen.
you ride in my car.
For real.
Well, the one time Gardy came over, he like showed video of my cat's cat litter, and now I'm like paranoid that my cat litter isn't up
Your
to Gardy's
cat-
standards.
Your cat was
is
begging
fine.
me.
Your cat is fine.
Your
He's
cat
not-
was.
is not hurt.
Yeah, the cat was like, "Hey, please, can you broadcast this so Curt will at least change the litter every once and again?" And
I
all
did
he did
change
was
it this
like,
morning.
he didn't change. He just went. He just poured some on top and was like,
Oh, Curt, you're killing me, Smalls.
I change apartments every 6 months so that I change the cat litter every 6 months.
I guess.
Oh my goodness.
It makes sense. It's not. It's not
People are gonna. It's gonna be a resume question on. Do you have cats? And they're gonna say, "Is your name Curt Casper? You can't come here."
Jody said, or apartment management. Curt put the batteries in. LOL.
Yeah, shout out to Glacier Court. They're one of our partners here, which is Curt's complex. Glacier Court Apartments, located in Texas City. And if you are looking for someone to put batteries in and you live in Glacier Court, maybe Curt can do that and put them in his. We'll take him out of here.
Yeah, I've been there for 3 years. It's a place right next to I-45. Go check them out, Glacier Court Apartments.
That's right.
Thank you for your partnership with KHEA Radio.
If you're watching on Facebook, hey, I see some people chiming in. What's up, Christy? She put a facepalm emoji. I'm just not sure which part that was about. There's so many things
So
that
you
that facepalm emoji could go towards.
So, is there anything in my life that you guys approve of? Because it's been like, okay, you're not eating right.
Yes.
You're not working out right. You got that belly that's hanging over your
he
belt.
called
it sounds like
Dunlap.
Dunlop over the belt buckle.
I'm going to start referring to that as Dunlap.
No, Dr. Chapa was giving you like slow claps for not double fisting cookie dough like as you leave the grocery store.
Yeah.
I was. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
You got sugar cookie. It wasn't even chocolate chip cookies. He likes sugar cookies.
I do like sugar cookies.
Sugar cookie dough.
Just give me the sugar cookie dough.
Man, I'm just scrolling through here looking at all the top fans. I'm so excited. Margaret's a top fan. Soleon's a top fan. How do y'all earn these top fan badges?
By liking, commenting, and sharing every post that we do.
not every
Oh.
not every post.
Well, pretty much.
Just
all.
the ones that spread
Is
positivity.
it only through KHEA Radio, or is it a Facebook thing?
It's a Facebook thing that they decide, so we don't get to pick who the top fans are.
Oh.
Facebook decides, and they just opened that up to our page last week.
Yeah, we had wanted it rolled out, and we were researching, like, how do you initialize that? How do you set it to where your page does that? But Facebook is slowly just rolling it out as they go down the line. I'm not really sure. So you may have it already on the Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. If you haven't checked out Dr. Chapa's page, go do that. Make sure you like it.
JustLiveWell.com. And let us be a health and wellness resource for you and your family. We have cool surveys up on our website that can help you see, assess your sleep, assess your allergy issues, assess hormones, assess energy, mental clarity, and we want to help you find out that there is a solution to whatever it is you're dealing with. And I mean, that's just a sampling of the resources that we can provide. It isn't just energy and sleep and allergies, but I mean, people typically, we try to pick like the most common things that most people are dealing with. But what we find a lot of times when people come in with allergies, they have a slew of other symptoms as well. Mm-hmm. People come in with headaches, they have a slew of other symptoms as well. So we go through what's called a timeline history, and we break down and assess where you're at, and then a game plan on where we can go. And then we start working on that journey together. And so if it's slow, if it is long or fast, if it is, we just want you to know that start the program. Let us help you get started, and let us help you move you through the process. And I assure you, if you stick with it long enough and follow through the recommendations to the best of your ability, you're going to get well. And even if you, and this is the other cool thing, it's like nothing that what we're gonna do is harmful in any way. Like it doesn't hurt. It's gonna teach you how to make life changes for your overall well-being and take care of the best investment you got, which is yourself.
Mm-hmm. You got one body.
One
You gotta
body.
take care of it.
You got to take care of that sucker. And so, I want people to know that they can live better, be better, and stay better one bite at a time. And I want them to appreciate the fact that, all life does and always will start and stop at the cellular level. And nutrition is the fundamental backbone that allows your body to spiral out of control or to take, flight and move in a direction that you want it to go.
What do you have going on? Do you already have plans for the 4th of July and the rest of this week? Or if you're watching on Facebook, let us know what your plans are, and are we invited? Because me and Kurt are trying to figure out what we're doing for the 4th, especially in the morning.
Over at Butler's Courtyard, there's going to be a little parade thing where kids are going to dress up little, wheeled contraptions for 4th of July, and there's going to be some judging going on. I might go over there and do that.
It'd be fun.
If I got selected. I'm not sure. I said yes today. I just don't know if I got approved that I'm going to be one of the judges, and so. But at the end of the day, one of the things that's one thing, and then of course, I'm going to try to find me some fireworks to go watch, and I will I will remain anonymous whether or not I will be lighting fireworks. But if you listen to the front of the show, you probably will know the answer to that.
I mean, do you try and recreate those moments that you had as a kid with your kids? You're like, hey,
Yes.
hey, what's up?
I want my
Dash,
kids
let me,
to-
I'm
I
firing
want-
a firework at him. Like, run, Dash, run.
Well, not to that extreme.
Okay.
My wife would not approve. She would be bent if I did that. Yes, we definitely recreate firework moments. Like where the kids are able to pop stuff and blow stuff up and ant piles and whatnot. And it's just one of the many joys. I think somebody said even in the post earlier how satisfying is it to blow up an ant pile with a firecracker. And
Wow.
so anyway, it's man. I mean, I think that 4th of July has so many important meanings, and I think fireworks is just one of those things that we can celebrate and know beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's great to be free.
I think it's it's what makes it so memorable, and it can bring back memories from a kid. It's the smell, it's the experience of holding even a sparkler in your hand, and just all the emotions that it brings. That it's able to kind of draw you back. That smell, the sound, and
That's
just
right.
the visually, it creates experiences that can last forever.
And fireworks displays that are put on well, are when they're done well, they can really move you. When they have music playing with it, and they got just depending on the quality of the is that called pyrotechnics? I think I don't know.
Pyros.
And so it's quite amazing. Like every time we've been to Disney, they have fireworks every night.
Wow.
And you sit there and you're just like, this is outstanding.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
I know KHEA on the weekends or
In the
Thursday
summer.
nights or something. Yeah, during the summer
9
they
o'clock or something like that blow stuff up
all the time.
And I think that's awesome because but think about it. It's people love fireworks, love it.
Yeah, my wife, she enjoys fireworks. Kurt, are you going to be putting on a fireworks show this year?
Tonight. No,
put on
tomorrow
one tonight?
night.
Okay.
Tomorrow night at Button Life Christian Center, we're going to be eating Smokin' D's barbecue from Dustin.
USA.
Oh my gosh, USA.
We can start
And
on
then
all of
like
a
a
sudden-
USA brisket.
Alvin's own Smoking
The
D's
brisket
barbecue.
Macdilla.
Woo.
And then I'm going to be setting the entire display on fire.
What are you talking about?
I bought a display.
What do you mean a display? You bought a fireworks stand?
Yes.
Okay, in the parking lot.
The entire fireworks stand is going to be sitting up in the parking lot. Then I have the little TNT, like Wile E. Coyote, and I'm going to take the powder and go, and then all of it's just going to go up.
Are you
It's
gonna
going to be great?
Are you gonna dress in your Elmer Fudd outfit?
Abadi, abadi, abadi. That's all, folks.
Dr. Choppa.
Yes, please. Make
Dr.
sure you take a
Chop.
picture because I didn't know you had an Elmer Fudd.
I don't.
I mean-
well, I
I
have
mean-
that red jacket.
So a long time ago, I was like, you know who you look like, and I just realized it.
Elmer Fudd.
Rascally Rabbit.
You rascally rabbit.
Dr. Choppa.
Hunting Wabbit.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share? We got about 6 minutes left.
Well, if the again, I just encourage people to enjoy this week and make sure that you pick up your B vitamins if you are a sugar addict and are going to be getting into sugar. Make sure you come by and get your enzymes. And if you're going to be overeating, eating too much, make sure that you're drinking plenty of water this week. Make sure you're eating well this week so that whenever the 4th of July comes, you have a little room to indulge a little bit, but just make sure that you indulge in moderation. Make sure that the volume that you put in all at once isn't so abundant that your body can't digest it. And because there is too much, and that's a part of what we're trying to teach people is to realize that we really don't need as much food as we're served up. At many of the restaurants we go to, you could probably split something. You could probably eat a salad the size of your head and then eat your meal and not let your eyes overlook your stomach. And then whenever you incorporate just some of those, very simple ideas, then you put the supplements to help break down the food you're putting in, you're going to get more bang for your buck. And no matter what you're dealing with, I just always encourage people, just don't stay in a place of suffering. Like I had this gal come in, and she was having, beyond 15, 20 bowel movements a day, like pretty bad. She was
Too many.
a flight attendant, and I'm
That's
like,
not
how did
good.
she how did that work?
Stay employed.
That's right. But and she had spent $10,000 to $12,000 looking for an answer, and the answer was simple. She came into my office, and I didn't, I think we spent less than $200, and we found that she had a dairy allergy. And we took her off of dairy, and in 30 days, she was having 4 bowel movements a day that were normal. No more spattering, diarrhea, none of that. And she was so excited. And then,
It's descriptive.
two. I'm sorry. You got to forgive me. and then 2 weeks, or I guess 4 weeks later, she comes in and says, I've just decided that I would rather, have the diarrhea than to give up the cheese.
Are you serious?
And I go, what? like, are you like? And I just want.
Did that break your heart? It kind of
yes,
breaks my
it did. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, what?
Hashtag same over here.
And so I just realized that it's not up to me whether or not you choose to follow the recommendations, but if you do, and when you come in, at least you're going to find out what's causing it and what you can do to move forward. You know what I mean? And then at that point, it's all choice on your end. Like, I can't want you to be more healthy than you want to be, right? But I can give you tools. I can lead you. I can help you, manage things that you can't manage with drugs. I mean, medication does have a place, but it's highly overused in our country. And I want people to realize there's a better alternative to, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. We've got, pain relief enzyme products at our office that are safe for the kidneys. And there are basketball players and football players and people traveling around to teams trying to teach them, don't do the energy drinks, don't do the Tylenols, don't do all that stuff because it destroys your kidneys. And that's because these guys are like, here, take all this. They're given all this free stuff to use, but they at the cost of their body. And some of these conditions, like kidney dialysis or kidney disease to a point of kidney failure where you need the dialysis, is very, very difficult to reverse, but prevention is the answer. Like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and we want people to realize that no matter what you're dealing with, there's a better way, and you just gotta. It's not that you can't ever indulge or have fun and love, whatever it is you're doing, like the ice cream or stuff like that. But you just got to do it in moderation, where your body can tolerate it, and you might find that the less you eat it, over time,
the more you want it.
You start walking away from it more frequently.
Yeah.
Unless you're Curt and have an 83 IQ.
Is there a way to eat like raw cookie dough by the log loaf or however you want to describe it in moderation?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's truly just
you're
like
going to eat the whole thing.
Jumping off the wagon.
Too far. It's just like,
and but I mean, double fisting 2 rolls. I mean,
what if I just went to one roll?
What if you just like had a cookie? You know what I mean? I'm just like,
doesn't happen.
Be like a normal human being.
See, what happens is you start eating the cookie dough, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to bake some. And then by the time you bake some, you have like 2 left. And you're like, well, I can't put these in the oven. So you just finish off the rest.
You can't even, you'll never be able to fully appreciate the visuals that I have floating around in my head right now.
These are actual things that happen. I'm not joking.
I know, I got it.
I've had this dilemma
I can just
before.
see the physiology in your body screaming, for help. Mayday, Mayday, SOS.
I tell you what, I've never been disappointed after eating a deal of cookie dough.
not even in yourself?
But you know what? I haven't done it in a year and a half. So
Hey, that's awesome.
Gardy doesn't give me the money to afford the cookie dough anymore, so
That's
it's
true.
okay.
Well,
take his allowance
sometimes,
away.
he just doesn't want to be known as an enabler. So he's just trying to teach you to, become a man.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Chapa, for hanging out with us. You're awesome.
Yeah, again, I love being with you guys. Check out our website, justlivewell.com, and call our office, 281-554-8600, and let us know how we can help you. Hope that you have a fantastic 4th of July. We will see you guys next week.
Stay tuned. Whenever we come back after this short break, we are going to have Chris Lankford. We're going to have Rocco Aguilar in studio talking about the housing market, talking about real estate in our area. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Tadashi featuring Jordan Feliz. The song's Gotta Live.
Wow, that one was loud.
4-second ramp. Well, look at the visuals of it. The fade
was
in.
loud in my ear. Man, look at Rockwell over there.
Well, he's looking good, man.
He's looking. I'm kind of glad I wore the jacket. I was gonna roll up here in a black T-shirt. Like, come on.
Can't do that, Kurt.
I feel like Choppa
This
should
is
have.
Kurt Casper.
Man, we need to suit up again sometime.
Let's do it.
Whenever we hit 10,000,
Just give me the go ahead.
when we hit 10,000 likes on Facebook, that's the next time. I'm wearing a 10-piece suit. I don't know what the other pieces are, but I'm gonna figure it out. Thank you, Dr. Chapa. We'll see ya. Hey, have a good 4th of July. You and your family be safe. All right. We'll still have Facebook. Feel free to share this video out. We're about to kind of switch it up a little bit and talk about the local real estate market. Maybe not even local. We'll touch on global real estate. We're going to talk about what it takes to get you in a situation to get a new house, maybe to sell the one that you have, and what can you do to make sure that you're prepared and taking the steps to get into that dream home. Also, I heard some stuff the other day saying like, oh, we're still in a slight buyer's market. Maybe if you're looking to invest, real estate, from what I've heard, I'm obviously not an expert at anything, but they always say that it's good. It's a good investment, real estate, whenever it comes to land, whenever it comes to houses and even like in buildings and stuff, because it's there, and then it just follows the trends and the markets and all that stuff. But again, if you haven't shared this video, feel free to share it out. Let us know what you got going on today. I will say this. One of the ways that you can help spread positivity is by sharing our content, and whenever we have Dr. Chapa in, we always ask, a little bit more than normal, because I promise there are people on your friends list. There's people on your Facebook feed that are going to be able to stumble across that. They may watch a portion of it, and it can change their life forever. We were reading some of these comments that, like the one from Russ. He went from 290 to 250 pounds, under 250 pounds, just from following some of the things that we talk about on Tuesdays whenever Dr. Chop is in, talking about the services he offers at Living Well. And he does this every Tuesday just because he likes reaching out to the community. So it's a way for you to kind of get some free information. It's a time for you to like ask, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And it's something free that he offers to you guys, and we love bringing him in. He's a great resource, I think, to our area, and we want to spread everything that he's doing. So again, let me know what you have going on today and what your plans are for the 4th of July. Whenever I was driving in this morning to work, I used the 646 underpass. Now, so has anybody else realized, hey, it's open? And have you had the opportunity to use it? Yeah, I used it on day 2, and it's saving me a lot of time to work. I had almost convinced myself that Highway 3 was quicker, like the back way that I was taking to get here. But now I'm remembering, like, no, I'm a fool. Like I-45, dude, it's a beast. So here we're gonna have our guest in. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, Gardy?
What's up, Rock?
What's up?
How y'all doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Was Curt good out there? He's laying down the info.
Laid out everything.
That's what's up. I'm excited. Curt was admiring. He's like, man, look at Rockwell. Man, he looks good. He was like, I'm glad I wore a jacket. I look like a fool. I almost wore a black T-shirt, just a black shirt today. But
Man,
Put the
he's got
jacket on.
He's got the he's got the cuffs.
I got the cuffs. It's
He's got
England
the
Vokers
little-
Real Estate. This
You
is
know
how
what
we
it
do
is.
This
He's
is
like,
how we
you
do
already
it. This
know
is how
it.
we do
He
it.
made me look bad, man.
I'm checking out that bag as
Made me
well.
look bad. I always dummy it down, man.
The England
Always
Voker
dress
polo
it
bag.
down.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
take a look at that bag.
how can Curt get what? Kurt,
Let's
what would
get
you
some
even
goodies
carry in
out
that
for
bag?
y'all.
Listen, there's a lot of things that I could carry in that bag. A body, cat.
You can carry his cat around.
There's a lot that I could carry in that. Woo!
Y'all put y'all's own publication out at Eagle and Vokers.
Yeah.
GG.
We're
Gardy
the only
Garcia.
real estate company with our own
Gucci Gang, right?
Gucci Gang magazine.
Gardy Garcia.
Okay.
Gardy Garcia. I love it. It's legit.
Aldrich, you want one?
Rockwell, when can we get you and Chris on the front cover of this magazine? What do we got to do? What kind of moves?
You have to call Germany for that.
I can do that. I just need the right number. And
Germany and say, hey,
man,
put Rock on the cover.
we need Rockwell on the cover.
Ooh.
Okay, these houses are
Future
sick.
home. Future home right here. This castle.
Pick them out.
Man, if I'm not living in a castle, am I really living life?
Exactly.
Like y'all out there not living in a castle, like you need to readjust. Get a castle.
Get on that Kurt Casper level.
This looks like it's on a golf course. Like just in the middle of a green, be like, hey, I'm gonna build a house right there on 18. Look at that one. You see that one, Gardy? Take a look at that. It's like, hey, it's the middle of the golf course,
That's legit.
right?
Legit.
Like it looks like there's the green that you put on.
Yeah.
Just like put the house right in the middle of it. Let's go.
The interesting thing about these places, I feel like they should start building houses like that just in the middle of Santa Fe, like Hitchcock. There's so much land.
You could
like,
do it.
why not?
You can do it.
Why not? We've been talking to a lot of the cities in the area and just like the development process that goes on, even with like the land. Like Saltgrass Crossing, all these houses, and in Santa Fe they're starting to build on half acre lots, but subdivisions, because it's just a different way of doing stuff out there. And man, it's really exciting to see what's going on with our area, because it started up there. Like y'all remember when we grew up, Baybrook Mall.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Everything
Yeah,
was,
the
and now it's just like
646.
it's an explosion of growth and potential.
This magazine makes me hate my life. I I've done goofed in my life where I'm working at a radio station for free when I could be living the best life in these castles.
Work your way up to the castle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gardy, I need a big raise.
Okay.
Can it happen?
Yeah, you can. We'll let you have the magazine and put it on your vision board. Maybe start a vision board, and that's some
Dang.
advice right there.
These are legit.
So, what's up? Can y'all introduce yourselves and then just talk a little bit about what you got going on? We'll start with Chris.
My name's Chris Langford. This is actually my home base. I came from Abundant Life, graduated from Abundant Life, so I'm an alumni.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in the mortgage business, and we just wanted to really talk about the steps of getting qualified. I work for Pro Lending Mortgage now. A lot of y'all know it's Drew Brent's. I work with Drew.
Yeah.
I just made that move here recently. So, and me and Brock have teamed up, man. We've already put a couple deals together and made some families happy. So
That's what it's all about at the end of the day, right?
Correct. And, we go hand in hand, a mortgage company and a real estate company. We go hand in hand. You need good people on both sides to work the deal. And without somebody like Chris in the mortgage industry, the deal doesn't get done. It just doesn't get done unless you're paying cash for a house. That happens too. But if you're not paying cash and you need to get a loan, you need to go to someone like Chris, or I recommend Chris, because it's really going to help get all your ducks in a row, speed the process up, and get you to where you want to be. And so, I thank Chris for being there, helping my clients. When a client needs to get financing, he's the first person I think of.
That's cool. Hey, going back to something real quick, you talked about Drew Brent's. Is his wife's name Scarlett, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah.
So y'all remember Snow King, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's Scarlett's dad on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's open again. We did a thing called Shine on Lamarck, and a lot of people are like, man, I remember Snow King. There's a lot of memories, being from the area, like riding your bike to Snow King. But man, it's legit. Like still, like we went and we do a lot of stuff in Lamarck, but like I went almost every day. Like it was like three or 4 weeks ago, like for a week, just getting like carnival style food. So like chili and cheese, Frito pie, snow cones. Man, it hits the spot.
If you're from Lamarck, you're hitting Snow King up.
Yeah, everybody knows Snow King.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So yeah, you work
Leo's.
with Leo's too, man, because it's not that far as well. Which my parents, they still live over there on Carriage right there in Lamarck, and my sister, she has a house there
okay.
across the street.
Golly.
I'm across the street from my mother-in-law too.
Yeah. Hey, I saw because you live in do you care what I say?
No,
Oh, yeah,
go ahead.
in Hidden Lakes over there. There's a lot of growth.
Yeah,
there's a
come
lot of
try
houses.
to find me. There's like 300 houses. You're gonna find out.
But there was that house that was for sale. It was a lot for forever, but somebody finally moved in there, huh?
Yes, I had an empty lot next to me for like
Was it nice?
3, 4. Yes, it was like part of my house. Like this is my house and this is my big yard next to me.
Yeah.
And then they started building on it, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
But it happens,
Yeah.
The
I
residents
started
of the-
building a house next to Gardy, and they tore it down.
They tore it down.
It was just a little.
Gardy
blanket.
made a phone call. Said,
He made a lot.
No.
It was like
He
a
had some
blanket
wood.
fort, but I gotta live somewhere. I gotta have my blankets up.
Yeah. Hey, so we got 30 seconds. We're going to go on the FM. Chris, could you move those headphones?
Absolutely. Where?
Yeah, just on here because it's blocking your. There you go. That's perfect. That'd be.
We
want
wanna
to
see your face.
Now we can
Okay,
see your
yeah.
face for
And you
sure.
guys can put the headphones on if you guys want.
You don't have to though.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to mess.
Whatever you
his
feel, whatever you feel. So 15 seconds. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna reintroduce you guys.
All right.
And we'll answer questions. If you have real estate questions, feel free to ask.
Absolutely.
Let's see, here we
Any
go.
kind of mortgage questions, anything.
Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio.com 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It is Tuesday. We had Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. We were talking about everything that's going on with health, everything that's going on with wellness. Right now, we're about to switch it up. We're going to talk about real estate. What can you do to make sure that you're in the best situation to make, for most people, the biggest investment of your life?
Yeah, if you are interested in home buying, if you are interested in selling, here's an opportunity where we're going to have all of those questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask it in the comments below. I already see a couple coming in, so we're going to get to those here as we go going. But we want to introduce y'all to our FM audience. So you might have already introduced yourself to our Facebook audience, but kind of introduce yourself for us here, who you guys are and what you guys do.
My name is Chris Langford. I work with Pro Lending Mortgage. I am a mortgage broker. I am basically the first step in the process when buying a home. A lot of people do get it confused, with a realtor and a broker. Your realtor's the one that goes to show you the house, and basically I'm the first step.
Okay.
To see what you qualify for.
Because we talked to some real estate people before, and even to Rockwell, and it's like, well, I can show you a house, but you may not. You got to know some numbers and some other stuff, what your budget and range is, and where you're working with. So that's where you would kind of help me out, right?
Exactly. I look at your debt to income, and that basically, it's all government guidelines.
Okay.
And that tells me what you're approved for, and then basically the next step is give the the qualification letter to the buyer and the agent, and y'all go shopping.
Then you hit up Rock. Rock, can you tell who you work with and who you work for and what you offer?
Yes, my name is Rock Aguilar. I am the exclusive real estate advisor for League City area for Engel and Volkers Real Estate. And anything League City, Friendswood, and South, call me up. Call me. I'm the exclusive advisor. That means this is my territory. It's me. I know at other real estate companies, they may have 10, 20, 100 people with the same company representing the same area, but with this company, they give us a territory, and it's exclusive. So This is my exclusive place. So
that's pretty cool, because then it allows you to become the expert of this area.
Correct.
So whenever somebody, because I guess this real estate company is based. It's not U.S. based, right?
No, it's based in Germany, but we are global. And Engel and Volkers, if you know anything about Europe, the continent of Europe, Engel and Volkers is the real estate company over there. So it's kind of like the big name real estate places
it's the
here.
BMW.
Exactly. It's the BMW, it's the Ferrari. So if you're in Europe, you know who Engel and Volkers is. If you're in the United States, you may or may not have heard of us, and you can call us EV for short, because people get tongue-tied on that a lot, Engel and Volkers. But we are a luxury real estate brand, but I like to say that we give luxury real estate service at all price points, so we work with any price point out there. You don't have to have a luxury home, and you get into the luxury market around $400,000 and up.
Okay, cool. So this is KHEA Radio. We got Rock in, we got Chris in. We're going to talk about the process, and we're going to get into these questions. If you have a question, feel free to ask on our Facebook stream. If you want to text in, if you're listening on 99.5 FM, you can do that as well, 346-704-1806, and you can ask any questions, and we'll get those asked and answered. So this is from Christy. She said, I'd love to know about first-time home buyer programs. Is that a thing?
It is. Unfortunately, where I work, I am on the wholesale side of things now, so we don't have any down payment assistance programs, but our rates are phenomenally low.
Okay.
Now, you do have retail brokers out there that will give you some assistance from the government, but the rate's like 2 points higher.
Okay.
So I always try to steer my customer away from down payment assistance, but some people need it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. They can never save that 3.5% to 5%.
Is that the goal?
3.5% to 5%.
Yeah, that's the minimum down payment for the government.
So on $1 million home, I'm gonna need
We're not mathematicians.
$35,000.
I got that.
You work with numbers all day long. Then is that kind of it comes easy to you?
It does.
It's that abundant life education.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, but whenever you were mentioning, I guess, they want 2% higher. If you use a down assistance program, does that mean you end up paying more in the long run?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot in interest, because if you can come with your 3.5% and get, a 4% rate versus, not, using the government's money and getting a 6% rate. I mean, that's how they're making their money up.
Yeah.
With rate.
Getting some help now in the beginning.
If you could really, it's really a plan you've got to make, and it's something you've got to be serious about the mortgage process. It is the most important purchase you can buy. It's the hardest purchase you're going to buy in your lifetime, and people can attest to that.
Yeah.
It's just a tough purchase,
Okay, here's another question. This is from Lindsay. She said, how about home buying for self-employed? Does that look different?
No, I mean the only difference in self-employed versus if you're W-2, you just have to have 2-year tax returns. That's basically it. And make sure when you're getting ready to buy a home, a lot of people when they do self-employed or when they're self-employed, they take that loss that first couple years.
Right.
That's
not going to look good on
it doesn't look good.
When you start a business, it's not the best time to maybe buy that home.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, if you're showing losses.
Gotcha.
Now, but if you get to the point in your company where you can start showing where you're making profit, then that's when you can,
Okay. And here's another one, because this is what I've heard in the past too. They said I thought it was 20%. I guess she's talking about saving for a down payment on a house.
Everybody, that's like that's what it used to be back in the day.
It's a great goal. That's a lot of money.
It is.
Like $200,000 house.
That's $20,000. I mean, that's $40,000 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20% it's a big chunk. Now the reason people say that is because a lot of people want to put 20% down to avoid the mortgage insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Okay.
So I mean, because that's an extra $100, $200 a month.
Gotcha.
That could be tacked onto your payment. But if you put 20% down, you don't have to pay that mortgage insurance every month.
People have $40,000 just laying around.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
What?
Oh yeah.
Look at these
But
houses.
you don't
Kurt.
have to put 20% down.
No, you don't have to. I mean, that's just
I don't think I'll
when
ever
people
have
when people are doing that, that's what they're trying to avoid.
Gotcha.
they
But once
don't
you
wanna
get I guess enough. What's it called when you own enough of the home?
Enough equity.
Equity, yeah.
Correct.
20% does that insurance become optional, or
If it's
it
a
goes away?
conventional loan.
Okay.
If it's a conventional loan, it goes away. If it's an FHA loan, it's on there the life of the loan.
Okay.
So I always tell me if you're locked into an FHA loan right now at 5% or above, give me a call. I mean, it's time to refi.
Okay, so
now is the time.
We got some more questions. I want to ask one to you, Rockwell. You being the specialist with Engel and Volkers in the League City area, if somebody's looking to purchase, what kind of range can they realistically look at? Like where houses will start in this, and I know they can go up to probably astronomical, but what can you realistically be looking at price-wise?
League City, it's so huge, right? So there's houses really in every price range. 200,000 is probably getting in the League City to get something that I would say is fairly decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you'll be surprised. I know a lot of people think about moving to League City, and I just closed one, but I ended up moving them out to San Leon, and they got such an amazing deal out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the spot we found out there. So if you're from this area, League City, there's a bunch of little cities around League City, KHEA, Seabrook, San Leon, Bay Cliff, and Dickinson. And there's a lot of different price ranges, but there's a lot of things you got to factor in. Like what school do you want your kids to go to? What amenities need to be around? It's not just about the house. It's about where you're going to live every single day.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on what Chris said about the down payment and about that question. Is a lot of times I know that's the first thing in our minds is how much is it going to cost me out of pocket to get in this house, or how much is the commission I have to pay to my real estate agent? Now, what's like a typical FHA loan? It's like 3.5%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 3.5%. That's not the end of the world to put down on the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's a typical conventional?
5%.
5%. So 3.5, 5%, and it may be a lot. You may want to go to these finance help programs, but like Chris said, it's going to hurt you in the long run. And it's the same thing with a real estate agent. There's every different model of real estate out there. There's companies that say, hey, I'll sell your house for 0.5%, 1%, list it yourself and pay me $300 and, you can put your own sign in the yard, right? But what I want to convey is that sometimes just saving money on the front end or saving money up front, it may not save you money in the long run, or you may not get everything that glitters is not gold, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So be careful, do your research. We all have different commissions. The real estate the real estate business is set up on commission, right? So we make commissions. If you're a buyer, it doesn't cost you anything to work with a realtor. If you're selling your home, the realtor is going to take a commission. But do the research on the company. There's a reason why a company like Engel and Volkers has been in business for over 40 years. We're in 44 countries around the world because we have that business model. We build a relationship with the customer. It's not all about saving maybe 1 or 2% here or there.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think that was the biggest surprise to me, and it's still, it's still kind of like mind blowing. But as a buyer, like if I have a real estate, realtor, agent, broker, somebody working, with me for me, that I'm not the one paying. It's the seller. It has to give that commission. So it's absolutely free to you as the buyer. Like, why not bring in an expert? Why not, have somebody answer those questions? Like a lot of people like League City because of Clear Creek ISD. It has a really good school district. So it depends on where you're at in life and what you're looking for, and those are things that you, as the expert of the area, can say like, oh, well, this is the borderline. For here, they're going to go zone to here. This is what the future holds for the area. So it's just interesting. Here's another question as well.
Yeah, I want to ask this from Saul because I think this is really important. It says, as an investor, how does one find out about the ever-changing underwriting guidelines? Seems like a moving target. Where can I get changing rules?
He just called me. I mean, because they change all the time.
Can you explain? Can you explain that, what it means, kind of? Because there's probably people who are watching, including myself, that don't understand what that means.
Yeah, the government can come in and change guidelines at any time. I mean, they'll update us daily with changing stuff.
Like they can change anything. Huh?
Anything.
The game changes.
Yeah. I mean, it changes like that. They'll just send out a bulletin saying effective this is what's going to happen.
What is the underwriting guidelines? What is that? I guess can you explain?
Underwriting guidelines is basically. So what happens is I qualify you as a client, right, and get you the pre-qual, and then once you get a house and go under contract, it goes into underwriting. Well, those the underwriting team has a set of guidelines that the federal government has set out that they have to go by, like your debt to income ratio, what it could be, and stuff like that. So there's tons of guidelines that I mean, the book's that thick.
So it's kind of like when I went to go and tried to franchise Taco John's to come to Texas. It was they were like, hey, you have to have a value of $100 million, and I'm like, I'm worth $100 million.
I'm worth $100.
And, but basically the underwriter basically just combs through the file and makes sure that we have everything in the file to make it FHA qualified or bank qualified to sell it off to the investor.
Here's another question, unless you have something else.
I was going to go off of this question.
This is good. This is from Christy as well. She said, it seems like the more affordable homes in League City are off the market in 1 to 2 days.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. And let me do a public service announcement. If you're looking for a home and you're in that first-time home buyer type of price range, $150,000, $200,000, $220,000, you better not play. Right? Because I get people and they lose the house they want because now they want to go, well, maybe I should offer, we'll discuss what I think we should offer. And a lot of times I can't get the price of a house down because somebody else is going to buy it. That's a hot market, first time home buyer. There's a lot of competition and the sellers know that. So if the house is fairly decent, if it's in a decent area and you want it, because you want it, guess what? Other people are going to want it too.
Yeah.
So make an aggressive offer in that price range. If it's a house you love, if it's a house you could live without, like, well, that's another story. But I hate it when I can't convey that message to my clients because I've seen them lose a house that I know that they want, but they want to bicker over maybe $5,000 or something like that. And a lot of times I can help get that back on closing costs. I can. It may not come off the price of the house, but I can get the seller to say, hey, I'll pay you $5,000 or $6,000 in closing costs. I've done that before. That way, when you come to the closing table, you don't have to bring as much money up front. So that helps a lot.
And that's also why it's important to go talk to Chris before and get your letter, get your approved. Because if you see something on the phone or on the website, or you walk by and see a sign and it's like, hey, there's already offers on the table, most likely day one, if it's a good location, desirable house.
Especially right now. I mean, it's summertime. People are moving right now. They're preparing to change school districts and trying to get in by August.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing right now in the summer. I mean, it's definitely a hot market right now, especially with the rates being lower.
I remember being a kid and all of the high schools were recruiting me to be a quarterback for their football team. I remember like the summer times always like looking at who's going to offer the best high school for me to play football at.
Yeah, when the market's hot, it's hot, and the best thing to do, and I can't stress this enough, is find out how much you pre-qualify for. It doesn't cost you anything to give Chris a call. And so people call me all the time. I'll ask you a few questions, and I'll send you right to Chris because you're not ready to talk to me yet. So what Chris is going to do, because in your mind you might say, well, I qualify for $350,000 because I have this job, my spouse does this, but you don't know. Once Chris gives you that number, that range that you should be shopping for, not only is he going to tell you that, he's going to give you a piece of paper, a pre-qualified letter, and they'll send that to me because whenever you do pick a house that you like, the seller's agent, the seller, they want to see that pre-qualified letter so they take you seriously. Not just, hey, I want to buy this house. Once I send that letter from Chris, it shows the seller, hey, they're already pre-qualified to get this home. Let's start talking serious about the negotiation. So don't just go to Zillow or HAR, or let me plug our website. This is where you need to shop a home, evrealestate.com. Matter of fact, rockaguilar.evrealestate.com. So just type my name, rockaguilar.evrealestate.com, and you can shop for your house on there. But before you shop, make sure, call your mortgage broker and get that pre-qual letter. Does that make sense?
And I advise everybody, don't just call one. As far as your mortgage brokers go, shop it. Because the thing is, a lot of people think, every time you get your credit ran, that each hit
knocks
is
it off,
knocking
right?
But it doesn't. The first mortgage pull you get free pulls for 45 days after that, so you can shop for 45 days without it affecting your score.
Wow.
Once you have that first mortgage pull, so there's nothing wrong with shopping around, for the best rate.
Wow.
So.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you, the other, like a couple Sundays ago, I went and looked at an open house in Lamarck, and it was a decent looking open house. It had a lot of work still left to be done. It was already sitting at 120. I was probably looking at at least $15,000 to $20,000 in renovations.
Updates, renovations?
Yeah, because there was just like stuff on the walls. You'd have to remove some of the walls and do some of the painting and take down wallpaper and stuff. And it would have been a lot of work. There looked like there was water damage and stuff on some of the corners. And at that point, I was like, man, I'm already at 140. I can come over here to Delaney Cove, and they have signs up that say 180, for homes, for a brand new home. Mm-hmm. Is that something to be looking at where it's like, hey, I can pay $40,000 more, in a loan.
There you go.
Which adds up to monthly, I don't know. I'm not the math, like $40. Yeah, I don't know.
Not even, right?
Yeah, not even. Yeah. Probably $100, $150.
Yeah, so I could do $150 more to move into a brand new home. Is that something that you should be looking at where it's like, hey, if I'm going to already be at 140 or 120 and then I have to do renovations, and at that point it's like, well, I can, jump up to a 180 house that's brand new, that's just built. Is that something that people should be looking at?
In the same town, in Lamarck.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you've got to look at the new neighborhoods because the tax rates could be outrageous. So that's one key to look at. Like
HOAs,
on this side, it could be as high as 3.9. But then you got taxes over here on this side of Texas City that's 2.5, 2.7. So, that's a big thing to look at is your tax rate.
And another thing to look at with the builders and with new construction in general, just like a new car, right? You see the sign that says, come get this Cadillac, it's $30,000, and you go in the dealership. Well, you got to roll the window down like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is going to be in that $180,000 home? What type of finishes are going to be there, right? So they starting at 180, right? But you have to say, okay, show me the 180 house, not the model home that I'm in, that once I put the floors in, the countertops in that I want, all the trim work. Now I'm looking at $250,000, right?
Right.
So, but that's what's great about real estate. It's a market, right? So you can list your house for whatever you want, and those are the things that you have to weigh in your mind. Is like, do I buy this for 120 and hire a contractor to come in and fix this one up, or do I go to a new neighborhood and negotiate with the builder? Because you can negotiate with builders too if you have a real estate agent to help you. Like, we know how to negotiate with builders, right? Yeah. So if you walk in to a new construction subdivision, right, there's a lot of them around here, they're going to have their own salesperson. They're sitting in the model home. They say, hi, how you doing? They come in, and they try to get you in the house. But who is that salesperson working for? The builder, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to try to make the most money for the builder as possible, give you the less amenities as possible. They want to save the builder money they want you to live there, right? But everything's going to be structured for the builder. That's why when you walk in and you have somebody like me with you, hi, I'm looking for a house. This is my realtor, Rock, and we look together, or then I can help negotiate with you because I know what they try to do to you, and I know that I can get the price down. I can get extra things thrown in because a lot of times they don't like to see us coming, but they love working with us because we bring them business too. So it's just a business relationship, and it is a market. So, Curt, you're doing good, but I want to ask you, do you have a pre-qual letter, right? Or do you have cash, or what? Do you have a plan, right?
I have one of Gardy's poker chips here.
Well, this is from
Bay
Bay Area
Area
Raceway, and it's worth 5 tickets, but I'm holding on to it because we're going to be there not this weekend, not next weekend, the weekend after. We're doing this big laser tag. I mean, y'all know. Y'all have been there.
Oh, yeah. Touching back on his question, too, though, about it being a new house versus an older house. Now, there are some keys to that. I mean, like FHA, especially if it's an FHA loan, like they won't approve a loan, if it's got water damage or, because it's a government loan, so it's got to be tip-top shape.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to get into a newer house like you're talking about versus in Lamarck that needs work, and because like you couldn't even do that with an FHA loan. It'd have to be conventional.
Talk about the appraisal too.
Here's the funny part about the FHA, and I looked into an FHA when I started looking. I make too much money for an FHA, so it's kind of it's weird. They have a cap. At least I've talked to a broker before because I've looked into it, and they're like, "Hey, fill out this information," and I did, and they're like, "Yeah, you don't qualify for one," which is kind of hard.
That's not true. There's not you don't make too much money for an FHA loan. I promise you.
Maybe a different kind or something, or
no. That's you got false information. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
I
good.
mean, I don't think you're. No, you're good. You should be good.
he makes like $1 million a year. Just kidding.
No, no, you really. It's all on. That's false. You can't. You don't make too much money for.
Talk to
FHA.
multiple people.
Yeah, and that, like you said, and that's
There's
pretty cool.
There's no income. I mean, it's all debt to income. What type of house you buy, how much money you make.
Cool. That's good because you had said, hey, talk to multiple mortgage, brokers, talk to lenders. Why not? Shop it, and then you can find out what is possible for one person. Maybe they can't do it or they don't know how.
I had a client that recently, he was told he had to put 20% down. He was a business owner. And I said, man, just give me your tax returns. Well, I calculated his tax returns, and they had calculated them wrong. I said, man, I can get you done with 3.5% down. He said, really? Well, man, I had him done in 2 months.
Wow.
So some people read tax returns wrong. So I mean, you really have to go to somebody that's knowledgeable, that knows their guidelines, and that's me.
I got you. That's cool. Right now it's 10:33. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We're talking to Chris Langford. We're talking to Rock Aguilar. We're talking about everything that has to do with buying a home, whether that's a first-time home buyer, maybe you're a real estate investor. There's opportunities, I think, for every level of purchaser in our area. It's kind of, there's been a lot of growth. There's a lot of, which, Curt, you don't like this word, revitalization. Where
Say that word one more time. Say that word one more time.
He said that's a city word, like the city revitalizing the areas.
Revitalizing.
But what's a better word? But there's a lot of opportunity for people to buy homes, a second home, maybe buy something to fix up and sell. There's a lot of stuff going on.
They're making the area great again.
Yeah.
Making it great. We're running out of land. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
I saw over here when I was driving by the other day, they tore down a bunch of trees. And I'm sure there's a lot of people upset about that right over here by Tanger. Have you noticed that when you're driving on 45? Take a look to your left where they're putting in all those things. All of those trees are just piled up.
Where Lago Mar's going? Have you seen the plans for Lago Mar? What they're doing? It's ridiculous.
That big lagoon.
It has me wanting to move to Lago Mar.
Exactly.
It's not even there yet. Me and Jen, so there's a thing called Hot on Homes, and they show it on like one of the local channels here. Have y'all seen it?
Yes.
It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. And I was like, man, it looks legit, right? I was like, we could do that. Why would we do that? Like hot on, I don't know, whatever. But it was having me wanting to move. I was like, I'm packing up. I'm moving to Texas City down the street because I'm going to be living that Lago lifestyle, every day. It looks legit.
And in 5 minutes to work.
Yeah, right down the street on the right side of I-45 heading south. Man,
Exactly.
you haven't seen it yet.
And then you would get to Buc-ee's.
I'd stop
you-
at Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
That's where I'm grocery
Because you're
shopping.
gonna have to go to
dude.
you're gonna have to go to exit 17 to come back down that road. Just
There
stop
you
at
go.
Buc-ee's on your way home after work.
How many people out there listening that the scenario of what Gardy said is like in your mind, right? It's like, if I only lived here, I could be close to this. I could be close to my job. My kids can go to this school. And a lot of people do that, and they just feel like, man, I'm just kind of stuck. You know, there you go. I got a hand raised over here. I'm just kind of stuck where I'm at. But it's not. It seems like a lot, but that's why you have people like me and Chris here. Like, we're here to help you, right? So, you know, just start making phone calls, start making plans. And I send people to Chris all the time that don't qualify, right? I just say, hey, and if they don't qualify, it's like kind of like looking at your credit score. Like, if you know it's kind of bad, I don't want to see it, right? I don't want to know all the negative things on my credit. But a lot of times you just have to do that. Chris will be honest with you and say, look, I know you want to get a house. This is what you need to do. You're 3 months out, or you're 6 months out, or you might be a year out, but here's the road to get this house, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to sell one first. What is your house worth? And a lot of times you think in your mind, like, I know my mortgage, I owe this much, I'm upside down or whatever, my house is not worth that. Well, you never know. You know, it doesn't hurt to just call around and make a plan, because a lot of times you might be pleasantly surprised, like his other client that thought he had to put 20% down, he only had to put 3.5%. And a lot of people also think that, what if I get in a bad deal with a house? Well, that's why I wanted to talk about the appraisal. If you're getting a loan for a house and another company is going to give you a loan, they're not going to buy a house that's not worth anything or not worth what the deal you made. So they send their own appraiser. The government does for FHA loan, right? So the government's not going to give you a loan for $250,000, and the appraiser walks and it says, like, there's a leak here, the foundation has problems. That's another set of eyes making sure that because I had a house like that recently also, where we agreed to the price. I thought it was a fair price. My buyer thought it was a fair price, but it didn't appraise at that price. So if the house doesn't appraise and it comes back $10,000 under appraisal or $20,000, you don't have to buy it. Then the buyer is in the driver's seat and can say, hey, my lender will only give me this much money to buy this house. Do you still want to do the deal or not?
Negotiate
and
with
then
that.
you negotiate, and you can either walk away from the deal, or they'll come down to your price, or y'all can meet somewhere in the middle where you may have to give a little bit of cash up. But I don't recommend that all the time. It all depends on the deal. Don't buy something that's not worth, you know, what you can sell it for on the open market later.
You know, whenever you're shopping for cars, they always say, like, you know, show your poker face. You know, don't buy the first one that you see. Just be like, yeah, it's all right. You know, is that the same kind of approach you take as a house? It's totally
I was
different.
in the car business for 8 years before. So before getting into the mortgage, I was with insurance before that. You don't, no, it's not the same.
I would say no, because there's always another white Honda Accord out there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there may be another 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house out there, but it might not be on that street, in that neighborhood, in that school district. So those are, you know, you got to keep a good eye out, right? And when it's time to buy, you gotta be on it like a hawk. You know, you have to walk your houses and be ready to make a decision. And I know it's that's what's crazy about real estate, is like, it's a big decision, right? To pick the house that you want to be in, right? So, and then you don't want to lose the house that you love, and you don't want to rush into something. So it's a lot of things to juggle. It could be overwhelming. That's why you just get help. Just get help.
And then one more thing I want to touch on is credit. You know, as far as credit goes, if you think you're stuck, you know, and there's a couple of easy things you can do to raise your credit score. One being add a credit card. People say, I don't do credit cards, but just having that $300 credit card could jump your points, you know, 50 points.
Really?
You know, yeah. But you got to keep the balance low. That's the trick. A lot of people get that credit card, man, they're be maxed out in a couple days.
Yeah.
You know, I tell them to get it, put $10 in gas, put it up in the closet. You know, but that'll drive your score up alone right there, like 40 or 50 points.
How long does it take that to hit? Like, if I'm trying to buy a house and it's like, I need 50 credit.
I can do a rapid rescore. I could have it done in a couple days.
Wow.
So it's just extra costs and stuff, but people will pay it, you know, because they want to get on with it, you know.
Isn't that crazy how that works? Is that everything is like they created this game for us to play, right? These numbers. What's your credit number? It's all about the numbers now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I went in to get a car with my credit union, and I've gotten like 4 or 5 cars at the same credit union, right? So I go in, and they tell me it doesn't even matter if we know you anymore. If we, like they would give me a loan like that because I've already
Talking,
yeah,
shaking
they
a
know,
hand,
yeah,
everything.
they know me. But now it's like we put your stuff in the computer, it goes to India or something, and then they come up with the decision without even all based on the numbers, like Chris was talking about. What's your debt to income number? What's this number on your credit? So if you know that my credit score number has to be a certain number, then play that game and get it to that number. Even if it makes, because I'm not a big credit card guy either, but I got them now because I wanted my credit score to go up.
Yeah.
And I have to put certain bills on those credit cards and just pay the card every month.
That's the key with credit cards is when you have them, keep them low, especially when you're going to purchase a home. Make sure the things are paid down
before you run your credit. And
that way when they pull, because your score will be jumping. It'll roll 50 points in 1 month if you ran a card up.
Yeah, and say that like people get into a house, like they're building a house with a builder, and they're gonna close in 2 months. They're like, I'm closing, and they go out and buy a car, or they do something crazy like run up a big credit card bill before. Listen, the house is not yours until you sit at the closing table and sign the papers. Right.
So do they run?
Put everything
you do it,
on pause.
like pre-approved, and you get that initial, and then they run it again at the closing to kind of make sure that this is the numbers we're rolling with.
They're going to check. They're going to do a verbal verification of employment too to see if you're still working, like the last 3 days.
Dang.
And they're gonna make sure. Yeah. So you got to tighten it up until you sign that paper and you get the keys. Don't do nothing.
What do I need to say to Gardy to make him so he's like, yeah, he works here and that's what he makes?
Like, what did you tell him? That's the other thing.
One thing is credit repair. Don't do it.
Really?
Don't do it. If I tell you, call me first before you're paying for any credit repair services.
So I did this thing.
Oh, here we go.
Wait, how long ago?
This was 2016, Curt.
It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time. I maybe had racked up a bunch of credit card debt. I was just buying stuff. I'm like, well, Future Curt's going to make a lot of money, and he's going to have all these riches and glory, and
gold
he's going to pay
and
these
rubies.
off. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make that much money. And so I racked up a whole bunch of credit cards. I'm like, yeah, I can afford that a month. And then it was like 8 credit cards at that a month, and I was like, I can't afford that. So this company called Prime Solutions, and they're based out of California. And what they said was like, hey, like, just stop paying your credit cards.
Which is what you want to hear.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
you ain't got to tell me twice.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, don't worry.
I wasn't paying them anyways.
They have to verify like that was you, and they have to verify all this. And anytime you get a documentation from these credit cards, like send them to us, and and then if they take you to court, then we'll give you all your money back. I did it for 3 years and never got. I've never been taken to court or anything, but it killed my credit. It killed my credit. Yeah. And I appreciate the company for helping, but
what did they really do though? They just told you not to pay it.
They didn't do anything.
It seems like
I know.
They just told him not to pay it, basically. Yeah, that's.
You could have paid me, and I could have told you that.
I know, and then I was like, well, I don't have to pay that one.
Yeah, do not.
If he'd have paid me, I'd have paid his bills because he had a monthly payment, and you had to pay it for like almost 3 years. You know,
that's what this Lexington law is like that. These companies, they hit you up monthly. Now there are some companies out there that charge a one-time fee. If I tell you to go see a credit repair consultant, it's bad, but a lot of the times when your scores are very, very low, that's because something recently is going on with you.
Mine's back up, which is good.
Typically if you're good within a 12-month span, it's time to start shopping. That's what the underwriter looks for.
What is a good
12
number
months.
roughly? Because if you're looking, so I'll give you an idea. Mine's between like 600 and 700.
You're ready. You're ready to buy.
Look at his eyes.
But here's the funny part. So that's the majority. There is one reporting company that has me at like low fives. And it's like, what the heck? These other ones have me at like near 7, and
don't
it's
y'all
like,
talk?
here's the 5.
Well, no. Here's the thing: we don't. Each website, Credit Karma, all these other ones, they all have their own module. Their own model on how they calculate scores.
Here's what we need: we need government regulation of all the credit cards. We need government regulation.
It's all got to be one.
Make
with
credit
everybody.
scores
It's got to be the
again.
same.
Let's go.
Here's the issue I've had. I had tried signing up for one of those, like, this was a while back, like, because I was just interested in my credit score, like a credit card. I can't even remember what one of those. So it's like, oh, yeah, cool. And they have good marketing, funny commercials. I was like, yeah, why not? I'm going to sign up. And he was asking me questions, and I talked a little bit about this with Curt yesterday. He was like, true or false? Did you used to live on this street? Did you live on, trying to verify it's me? I answered all the questions correctly. And it's like, nope, sorry, we can't verify. I'm like, what? Did somebody else buy something on my credit? I promise this is, correct. And so I never was able to log into it. And so I don't know. My credit's good, good enough. But I don't know, like, has anybody ever logged in on my credit? Like, why wouldn't it let me in? It's just always kind of bugged me, but I've never researched it, and I don't even know how to fix that. If you ever have like fraud, on your credit, like how do you get that dealt with?
If you have fraud on your credit, you're gonna have to call each individual bureau.
It's crazy.
And fight it out, man. It's a hassle.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes years to get settled.
Yeah, I actually did dispute some stuff on, and I don't even know which bureau it was or if it was all of them. But after I saw that, I did a little bit of research, and I was able to kind of. And I don't know if they ever did anything. But I've seen some of those credit repair people that are like, just dispute everything, like even if it was you, dispute it. But I didn't do that. I just did the ones I was like, this literally was not me. I didn't know the 09 Chevy truck that I bought in wherever it was. But I don't know. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. Credit's weird, like you said. It's all like the numbers. It's a numbers game.
The best time, man. The best time to dispute stuff is in December. Just so y'all know.
Why is that?
Because all the Christmas holidays, all the people don't have time to get back to us. And if they don't get back to you in 30 days, then it goes off.
This is a question
there's
earlier.
So many holidays that there's just not enough time. So
is that the best time to buy a home too? What is there a best time to buy a home?
Oh, not now. Because there's multiple offers on homes. Like you said, They're sitting on there a day and a two. Typically winter times or...
yeah, but that's when the homes look ugly.
Well, I know, but nobody's wanting to move it around that time, around Christmas.
How do you know what it looks like during the summer when you want to go outside and enjoy the bask in the sun rays with your inside of your $1 million pool?
Yeah.
Just the pool, $1 million? Man. Rock, so we were looking at this magazine just for a bit, and I know you said Engel and Volkers is a worldwide real estate monster, right? But like looking in here, y'all do some really beautiful houses. These are from all over the world, huh?
Yes, they feature Engel and Volkers homes in the magazine, and so if your house is worthy, it could get a spot.
We need to find a house.
Can I get my Jeep Compass featured in there? I've slept in it one time.
Just one? I feel like it's probably been more.
They have never seen some manual windows like that Jeep Compass.
Yeah, and manual locks.
And manual locks.
Well, life is good. Can't complain.
Yep.
Too much.
Too much. A little bit too much.
It's 1048. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. Can you reintroduce yourselves to our audience and just let them know who you work for?
Chris Langford with Pro Lending Mortgage.
I'm Rock Aguilar with Engel and Volkers Real Estate. I'm the exclusive real estate advisor for League City and South. So anything League City and South that you're shopping for, you can give me a call.
All right. Hey, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Chris?
The best way to get a hold of me, my number's 409-256-2550. But if you want to apply, the easiest way to apply, you can apply right on your phone. Just text my last name, Langford, to 33655.
Damn, I need to get one of those set up.
No.
Text. I don't even know what I would need it for, but that's legit.
It's like the connect to us at the church where they say connect with us and text ALCC to, and then it's like,
yeah, but it's a long phone number. That's just like four numbers. It's legit. It just sounds good. I like that. And how can someone get a hold of you, Rockwell?
I say the easiest way to get a hold of me is just Google me, Rock Aguilar. So if you just type that in your Google bar, you're going to find my website. You're going to find my Facebook. Friend me on Facebook. I love talking on Facebook. I love doing I do a lot of business on Facebook. So just do that. Find me on Facebook, or you can call me, 818-452-5368.
Sometimes I'm scared to have people Google my name. You never know, it'll come up.
I just Googled your name, and it came up like amazing. It was like Rockwell is amazing.
Wow.
It was kind of cool. It was like Google just already knew that you were amazing.
I'm going to go Gardy Garcia.
I'm going to Google myself.
Yeah. Has anybody else done that if you're watching on Facebook?
Be
Shine
careful.
on Lamarck comes up, and then that's interesting. And then some music stuff. KHEA Radio.
And that one time you ran from the police, that I-45 Now report.
We don't talk about that one.
Is that on there?
You know,
let's
no,
see.
growing up in this area, I tell Kurt like stories all the time, like the McDonald's in Lamarck, which I grew up right down the street from there. I was like, man, I remember one time, me and my friends, and I had a '84 Jeep Cherokee, couldn't do that much, but I was flooring it, because I was speeding. And I was passing the church, and you know where I guess like Pigpen is? There's those cops. They like to hang out there sometimes, which is. And so, but they're on the feeder, and so I'm cruising, and I probably shouldn't be saying this story, but you learn, you learn, and you live and you learn, and things happen. And so I was like, I have two choices. I can either step on the gas a little bit harder, or slow down and let him pull me over, because he pulled out.
Yeah.
Dang.
And so I'll just say, I'm here today, and I have a clean record. But yeah, I just did the U-turn, pulled in McDonald's, went in. I already ordered like a hot and spicy chicken sandwich, and we saw the doop.
That police car is still driving to Austin.
He's going north. Yeah, he's heading north.
He's
on
been doing
45.
that for the next
So was he after you?
I think so. He never. They never turned on their lights, but he pulled out after I was like cruising by.
So basically, you're an outlaw.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, wait, you just admitted to breaking a crime. Yeah.
And I love
breaking the law.
And we love Lamarck Police Department
Oh, yeah.
and our public servants here at KHEA. And
What if it was a state patrol officer and now you're really
Well, we
in
had
trouble?
one in the other day, and we appreciate them as well. She was awesome.
The former. She
Yeah,
was probably
it
the
might have been
one-
her.
She might have been the one who was trying to pull you over.
Well, we were asking the difference, the state troopers and the local police, and I was like, so what else y'all do besides, like, y'all just stay on the highway and like write tickets pretty much, and they'll assist at times, but that's pretty much what they do.
Man, something that will mess up your home buying, getting that ticket.
Hey, do y'all remember whenever the speed limit used to be 70? It used to be 70 up and down I-45.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember when I moved
What is
here,
it
And
now?
then at night,
65, 85.
Well, usually they had a 70, and then they had a nighttime one for 65. Remember
Oh,
back in
man.
the day?
Well, then they dropped it to 55. And then I remember there was like, what I asked her, I was like, there was a president switch, one of the times. This was like around 2000 or so. And then, or no, it was a governor. It was the governor switch. And they dropped it back up to, or they picked it back up to 65 from 55. But I remember like 70 to 55 is a huge drop down on I-45.
Yes.
That was ridiculous.
Yes,
but
it was.
65 is okay. But there's a lot of distractions when driving now. So times are different from like those late 90s.
Now there's a cell phone lane,
Yeah, there should be like
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like the HOV, it's like, hey, if you're
crazy.
going to be texting, move over here. Everybody that's texting, driving this lane over here. Everybody that's being responsible, stay over here.
I'm like, what is this car in front of me doing? They're like weaving and swerving, and they're going slow, and they're in the left lane, and I pass them up, and they're like,
Yeah. Well, my
Like, are
car
you serious?
does like lane assist, and I showed Kurt that before. Like, I was like, watch this. Just take my hands off the wheel, and it's kind of like just driving itself, censoring where the lane,
Yeah.
the lines, and
Yeah.
the yellow, and it'll beep if you go. He's like, that's annoying. I'm like, well,
almost a Tesla.
Yeah, not quite.
But not quite.
One day, whenever,
One day.
when Kurt's living in one of these houses, I'm just gonna use a spare room and use all my money on a Tesla. Hey, we got about like 6 minutes left, maybe even about 5 or so. Can we talk? Is there anything else I want to touch on that we haven't talked about yet?
Man,
I want to say the summer is hot. If you're thinking about buying a home, if it's just a thought in your mind, or, look at your house right now. Just look around. Are you tired of being there? A lot of times you need to tune into something like this where somebody just gives you that little extra push and says, you can do it, Let's go shopping. Let's put your house on the market if you need to sell one, and let's, live your best life.
Mm-hmm.
or if you're renting, and you're ready to make that move, and just apply. It's the first step.
Yeah.
I'll tell you if you're ready. If you're not ready right now, I'll tell you what you need to do to get ready.
All right, let's do it right now. I'm ready.
All right.
Right here?
Text Langford to 33655.
That's easy.
LANGFORD
We got it, Kurt.
33655.
There you
Are
go.
you texting it? You didn't text it. I
did.
saw you just close the app you're on. You didn't even pull open the messages.
Check his phone. No, don't check his phone. I didn't.
No, you didn't. It's
Yet.
already been beeping.
You know what? So if somebody is renting, whether that's like an apartment or they're renting a house, are there some some signs that they should know, even if it's just the itch, like I may be ready? Like, what are signs that you are ready to start that process?
I think signs would be, you've got a sizable down payment. Just know your budget, know where you want to be, and make sure you have all your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Make sure you have. Because the minimum you're going to need, if you do want some down payment assistance, the minimum you are going to need is your earnest money, and option money, and then your appraisal money, which is about $2,000.
You know what's tough is that if you get approved, let's say someone gets approved for that 300,000, 350, or even 200, but whenever you add up all the payments, like, okay, it's in this neighborhood, there's homeowners, there's this insurance because it's not 20%, you're going to price yourself out and buy a house that's 350 when really, just because you got approved, I mean, you don't have to use all that, right?
Exactly.
You could buy a house for 200 and then everything's going to be more realistic so you're comfortable and not like, oh my gosh, I stressing out.
But everybody doesn't do that, Gardy.
Yeah.
Everybody gets approved for 200 and then they'll bring me a
220.
contract for 220.
Yeah.
I'm like, but that's just the way it is.
I feel like that's what they do on HGTV. It's always like over the top. It's like, your budget is this, and it's like, I'm gonna go with the $800,000 home, and I'm like, how are you affording this $800,000 home? Like you're like, my budget is I work at McDonald's.
That's why they walk them
kids, and they're like, I can afford an $800,000. I'm like, what? How?
But I would say, if your credit cards are paid down and you have everything in line and you have a sizable down payment,
You'll be surprised
you're
how
ready.
many renters that want to look at a rent house with me. And when I'm in the house walking with them, I'll start talking to them about the qualifications and everything. And I just turn to them and like, why aren't you buying a house? A lot of people don't even know. A lot of renters are out there right now. They don't even know that they qualify to buy a house because they think, it's so difficult and it's just out of my league.
Yeah, and
believe me, people buy houses all the time.
And they're thinking,
it's not impossible.
And they're thinking of collections from 3 and 4 years ago. I'm like,
Doesn't
God,
matter
it's just been last 12 months. What
Yeah.
have you done the
I had a
last
guy
12
the
months?
other day, he's like, I got a felony. I'm like, uh-oh. He's got a felony on his record. It's from 18 years ago. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, and he's been
Yeah.
perfect ever since. And,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that has nothing. Your crime has nothing. Your criminal
Yeah,
background
on
has
rent-
nothing
on
to do
renters,
with
it does if
buying.
you're gonna
What about,
rent.
I know we and Kurt talked about this, but like student loans, medical records, what about those? Do those affect your credit?
Student loans don't. Basically, they just go against your debt to income. Now, if they're in the deferment, you just have to account for 1%. Basically, of the as the payment. To
Okay.
Go against your debt to income.
And here's one last question. How long is the process if you're not selling a home? So you're not waiting on that home to sell. I'm trying to get into a house. I found one. What does the process look like? How long does it take before we're in there?
Are you waiting to sell your home?
No,
You're
no
not.
homes.
Oh, man.
30
well, I can-
days.
Yeah,
right?
the 30 days is typically what we usually do. But I mean,
30 days.
I can if you're, it depends on the customer too, how fast they are at getting me documents. I mean, I could push it and close one in, 21 days.
21 days.
Yeah.
You can be in your new house in 21 days.
She
Think
says
about
she's
that.
paying about $1,500 a month, and that's so much for an apartment. So she's just saying like, what
Yeah.
$1,500 a month?
You can buy a $200,000
I run into
house
that
in this area
For that
yeah,
payment?
Yeah.
So in 30
Or
days,
you could rent a home.
your dreams could come
and
true.
here's the thing. In 2 or 3 years from now, when you're not renting, well, then property values have gone up. Well, then all of a sudden you've got $30,000 to $50,000 worth of equity.
Equity.
You
That's the
know?
difference
So,
between
I mean,
a renter and a
It's
owner.
like- it's basically a retirement supplement. So it's always better to own.
So how can somebody get a hold of you, Chris? One more time. What can they text? What's that number? I'm going to put it in here.
Text my last name LANGFORD to the number 33655.
33655. Text Langford,
Yeah.
and then you will be able to make sure you know your numbers. It's a numbers game, and you got to know the rules. If you don't know the rules, you can't play the game, and then you can get into that dream home in as soon as 30 days. So
Yep.
that's awesome just to think about. I'm
That's-
smiling just thinking about.
It takes about 5 minutes to apply, guys, and literally after that, I just have to get pay stubs and your last 2 years W-2s and the last 2 months bank statements, just a couple of items together to pre-qual.
Yeah.
So
And you do all the work. You collect it. You ask for the documents. 5 minutes to apply. You figure it out and say, "Here we go. Let's
He sits
let Rock
behind a
find your
desk
house."
and just pushes papers all
That's
day.
why
I'm
I
like
dress- that's
out
why I'm dressed like
jet-setting
this,
the,
man.
Jet-setting
I
the
sit behind-
city, showing, penthouses and things to clients. And then I go, Chris, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I got to call these people.
Hey, I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out. Come in today.
Appreciate the invite.
All right.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it,
so
guys.
This has been Kickstart's KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Tomorrow is July the 3rd.
One day before, we're going to be talking about a cool fishing tournament that's taking place inside of Texas City. It's tackle time, I believe. The tackle time
Yeah.
fishing tournament that's taking place. They're going to be here at 9 o'clock, and then we're still open at 10. So if you want to be a guest on our show, Message us on Facebook.
Hit us up quick.
KHEA
It'll fill up
Radio.
quick. It's KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Coming up next, Tim Timmons. That was a half-second ramp. I was like, I can't even do this.
Actually, we do have a 10 o'clock. Our 10 o'clock is Chef's Tables Charities. I
Oh,
just
sweet.
haven't put it in yet.
Okay. Hey, social media. Love you guys. See y'all later. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one. Hit up Chris, hit up Rock, and get in that house.
Bye, guys.